What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day, another week, another episode of The Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG, and on today's show, we're going to be talking about Destiny. Former Destiny 2 writer says it turns out the real Destiny killer was CEO Pete Parsons as players pray for Destiny 3. We're also going to talk about our readers over here on PC Gamer says are clear that they want Destiny 3, which is awkward because Bungie reportedly isn't making Destiny 3. So we'll talk about that as well. We're also going to talk about one of the biggest networks of gaming sites reveal a new plan where only writers get paid per click. So we'll see and talk about this and see what this means for the internet's journalists. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We'll also be covering the box office this weekend for The Mandalorian. And we have to make a comparison to another movie that Star Wars made almost 8 years ago. And we'll talk about that as well. What's going on, chat? Good morning. Let me see who's all here. If you chatted into the box, I can see you right away. What's going on, Eclipse? Travis, Jesse Mack, Mr. Z, Sarge, Altern. Good morning. Who am I missing? Jason, what's going on? Good morning. Anybody else we're missing? Wonder Rose, good morning. Those of you that are, it's not really a celebration. I mean, it is a celebration, but it's not a celebration. You don't say like Happy Memorial Day. You know what I mean? So those of you that have a loved one who died in the line of service or anything like that, we'll take a quick moment of silence for the people that, protect our country here. All right, let's get to the news. Let's start off here with former Destiny 2 writer. Former Destiny 2 writer says it turns out that the real Destiny killer was CEO Pete Parsons as players pray for Destiny 3. Oh, man. Can we bring this back? Where is it? Do I have a Pete Parsons song on here? I don't think I do. I don't have it. I don't have it signed up. Pete Parsons. That's a name I haven't heard. I love how this is all coming to fruition here, right? Remember, because Bungie can do no wrong, right? Bungie can do no wrong. So in the fact that Bungie is now failing, and Bungie was Pete Parsons, and Pete Parsons was there the entire time, but no one but me and Sarge since 2016 have said that Bungie just can't handle money. And everyone's like, no, it's not Bungie. It's Microsoft. It's Activision. It's whoever else they want to blame, right? It's never, ever Bungie's fault. I hate to tell you, if you're blaming Pete Parsons is Bungie. And Bungie is Pete Parsons. Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel. And this is where you now land. All right. Parsons departed Bungie last year following years of criticism. Okay. As fans shift through the ashes following Bungie's announcement of Destiny 2 is ending active development, from Bungie writer Robert Brookies summarizes the sentiment of the game's community. It turns out that the real Destiny killer was Pete Parsons. It was Destiny itself. It was everything that Bungie has done in the past. Okay, everything from shitting on your community, from calling out people, saying they're sexist, misogynistic in later times. Okay, from the up front, just throwing everything out the window, getting rid of your PvP and then bringing it back. Every choice that Bungie has made over the times. Don't get me wrong, I love Destiny. Destiny 1 was one of my favorite games. I almost put 2,000 hours in. Okay. Then Destiny 2 came out. I put way less time, but still close to 1,000, if not just over 1,000. It says Brooks was laid off from Bungie in July of 2024. One of the 100 of employees impacted by the studio made multiple deep cuts. Previously, he wrote at the time, he'd be delivering seasonal stories from the hunt all the way to the deep and sending it home to the most well-received expansions of our history in final shape. Reacting to the story development shutdown today, Brooks has no words on Parsons. He says, depart Bungie last year following the aforementioned layoffs and during the fraught time for the company's passing the role studio head of Justin Truman. Now, remember what Justin Truman said. Make sure you, underperform. Don't over-deliver, right? Is that what he said? No, that's not the correct term. It was don't over-deliver. I forget what the first part was, but it just don't over-deliver, right? To bare minimum, basically. Parsons previously championed plans for turn Bungie into a multi-franchise studio, positioned as one of the world's best entertainment companies, though they plan to pitch as much as rosier time for Bungie. As Bungie declined over the past few years, current leaders, former leaders, and especially Parsons faced mounting criticism, not just for how the studio incubation projects and layoffs had been handled disastrously, mostly, but also for the golden parachute they rode on the company following Sony. I gotta find. Give me a second. I have to bring up the song. It's too fitting. It's too fitting. I gotta bring up the song. Let me get Pete Parsons. Maybe we'll play it in the background. We'll play it in the background as I read the song, because it's just too good. Let me get it. Let's see here. Pete Parsons Carson. Got to get it. We'll set the tone. Set the mood here. Here it is. There we go. We'll have that playing in the background. Okay, so as Bungie declines over the past few years, and current leaders, former leaders, especially Parsons, face mounting criticism, not just for how the studio's incubation project and layoffs had been handled, okay, but Brooks touches on the main separate Blue Sky post today. He says, "Don't worry, they're suffering their checks, notes, and on hand, multiple millions of dollars payout." He says, even before the departure of Parsons was skewed for spending millions of dollars on vintage cars while developers were being laid off. Okay. Statements from the Parsons drew fire as well. Fans developer grill his remarks on October of 2023. Layoffs, calling them tone deaf in 2021. Parsons apologized for Bungie's work culture, following IGN report allegedly toxic and sexist behavior had been tolerated by leadership. Okay. Do we have it? Is it double songs going on? No, we're good. All right. It says, yet in some ways, Parsons is just a stand-in for Bungie's leadership at large. One hot Reddit post argues today, quote, as if everyone knows Bungie has terrible executives, maybe even some of the are still there, and the devs also do the actual work to make the game deserve a round of applause. With Destiny 2 on the way out, players are treading memories, grasping on straws, and enjoying some gallow humor from Destiny 3 unannounced sequel. A long held up a necessary clean slate solution to all Destiny 2's problems, and unsurprisingly, the talk of the town. Now, Bungie suggested that there's more Destiny to come in the drop of an axe on Destiny 2. Once we have more news to share on Destiny, they'll also be the first to know, it says, but it didn't commit to a specific project. It's not going to be live service. Just letting you know. Another game community director, Thomas Puha, of Remedy, summarizes the response as well. No, just no, he says. I've got 5,000 hours in the game, lifelong friends from it, some enemies, and at Bungie, so many friends over the years, this hurts. At least the game being quite this year's enabled me to work the day and night on Control Resonant. But I'm literally in tears that the journey is over. I love this game like no other. Well, here, we'll stop that. We'll stop that from there. Well, I'm not taking anything away from people that love the game, right? Obviously, there's a lot of people in this community that we met back in Destiny. There was conventions we went to with Destiny. Love Destiny. Love Destiny. I hate Bungie. Okay? Two of these things can stay the same, right? I love that Bungie made Destiny, but I hate Bungie as the company that destroyed Destiny. To me, Destiny's been dead since 2018. It really has. I started losing just once Destiny 2 came out, and then they started making the DLCs and stuff for Destiny 2, they lost me. I was like, yeah, no, I see this. I know how this is going to play out. I always said, and not that I'm gloating in this in any way, shape, or form, but I said this almost a decade ago. I said, the only thing that'll kill Bungie is Bungie itself, right? I said, nothing's going to come out because everyone, any time a new game came out, everyone's like, oh, this is a Destiny killer. This is a Destiny killer. This is a Destiny killer. And I was like, nah, it's not a Destiny killer. The only thing that's going to kill Destiny is Bungie itself. And here we are, right? Here we are in 2026 where Bungie has killed Destiny itself. And Sony, okay, you could say Sony's doing it, but Bungie did this to themselves because of what happened back in the other years, right? If you guys watch the GDC stuff where they're talking about how everyone thought Bungie was just so untouchable and the game was just doing so well. But their own words, within 5 weeks of Destiny 2 coming out, the game was hemorrhaging players. They completely destroyed what Destiny was, okay? And they turned it around, and one of the best to this day, I mean, Taken King was an amazing DLC, but Forsaken, okay, the Forsaken DLC with the Dreaming City is probably one of the best DLCs, I'll say probably in any video game, let alone just Bungie.
I get to play 007 first like tomorrow at 7 QM. I can't wait. If you pre-order you get early access. That's cool though, you get the full game early.
Thank you very much for the $5. Appreciate it. There you go, for those of you that are interested in getting 007 early. So, yeah, the DLC of Forsaken was probably one of the best DLCs. And yet, it just went down from there. They changed the entire business model. They went more towards the Eververse. They kept telling you that the only reason that content is going to be made is if you spend more money on microtransactions, which is absurd. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. So much so that when Microsoft approached them and they wanted $7 billion, could you imagine if Sony paid $7 billion? Could you imagine if anybody paid $7 billion? But Microsoft was offered that, or Bungie said $7 billion. And Microsoft said, no, your turn rate, your burn rate is too high. Okay. Meaning they just burn through money. And they were like, we're not interested. Which is funny because in a different scenario, Microsoft could own the Destiny franchise and they own the Halo franchise. So imagine that in that timeline. But Sony, thank God Microsoft said no to them because Destiny lowered their price just about a year later to, what was it, 3.2 billion? And Sony picked them up. Now, a lot of people are talking about how they picked them up because of Activision and everything. They're like, we need to pick up somebody. I don't think Sony needed to compete with what Microsoft was doing with buying Activision. But I do believe that Sony needed to compete what they wanted to make live service. So it makes 100% sense that they picked up Bungie because they were the best. They were the best in the live service aspect, at least on paper. Okay. Now Sony knows that on paper they were not good. Okay. So everyone absolutely loves it. So let's move on over to the next thing here. Now, everyone wants Destiny 3. Now, Sony, we've talked about Sony the last couple of years, talking about how they don't have enough IPs, right? So you pick up Destiny, you're like, all right, cool. You picked up Destiny, you have a huge list of ideas you can make from the Destiny IP, right? Then you picked up Marathon, which now they have Marathon. They have another game in the works behind the scenes. So there's a bunch of stuff they could do. And yet now Sony bought this company for 3.6 billion. And now they're just not working on Destiny. They bought them for Destiny. They bought them for their worth ethic for live service games. And then here we are where in PC Gamer it says our readers here are clear that they want Destiny 3, which is awkward because Bungie reportedly isn't making Destiny 3. The fact that they are not making Destiny 3, it's not even in the pipeline, should be very concerning here. Because, again, Sony has said we don't have IPs. This is one of the biggest IPs that you could have, right? So much so I've even said in the past that this could have been the next Star Wars franchise. And ironically, it is. It's in the shitter, right? Ironically, it is the next Star Wars, right? But not at Star Wars' height. At the Star Wars' low, okay? And they're together in bed right now because there's actually Star Wars content inside of Destiny, right? So Destiny 2 is over. Marathon is great, but not doing numbers. What is the first-person shooter institution of Bungie to do? According to a very attractive, informed reader whom we love and value the normal way, is Destiny 3 about a country mile. Okay, it says, I include a poll of on the matter and the story a few days ago about the community reaction to Destiny 2 ceasing the new content updates, and it's left it open for a week because of the first one I made. I was also doing Beast here, so this is the thing. So 74% of the people want Destiny 3, 14% want a new IP, 6% transition corporate MST to make Halo 7, 4% double down on Marathon. Ouch. 2% reboot Bungie's cult classic dark fantasy RTS series, Myth. Okay, realizing how I could also have thrown a bone, right? Don't do that, Sony. Don't make Myth. It says, I'm not even close, and I really expected more hopeless romantics to say, damn the odds. I want Halo. Destiny 3 really does make the most sense. This is why in the PCG assumed the announcement of Destiny 2 end of life, it also made the first place. Only one problem is it's not happening, at least at any time soon. Okay, according to Bloomberg, Destiny 3 is not active production, and the major limiting factor of the budget required, right? So Sony's saying it's way too much money. Way too much money. They're like, no, we're not doing it. That's not to say that Bungie's Sunk Works isn't, not going to happen at all, but the third Destiny game might look like, but even given the long lead time, contemporary AAA Destiny 3 only being in some form of pre-production unrealistically means it could be until like 2030 is the first time we see it. Our distant second place, some kind of something new, similar feels unlikely. The Incubator FPS, codenamed Gummy Bears, appears to have survived the layoff bloodbath at Bungie in recent years, and it's also been spun off into its own studio. Yay, another multiplayer shooter. Says, my darkest secret wish is that the Bungie just make a normal game with a campaign and stuff. Feels almost laughable, absurd. Sony leading Bungie into Microsoft for Halo 7, which also happened sometime after World Peace, but before the reach of Alpha Centauri. And also mostly through the Myth is also there as a joke. That's not a great place to be in the studio. This is a thing that everyone wants, effectively been foreclosed on, and all the alternatives feel preposterous, and now one seems seriously considered a possibility that Marathon could become the company sustaining, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. They've thrown all the eggs in the basket for Marathon. Okay, we talked about this on GXG a little bit. There have been more shocking to come from behind-the-scenes stories, but not many. So there you go. As far as there is no Destiny 3 as of right now, and if they do make Destiny 3, again, we're talking like, one, I've said this on record, do not do a Destiny 3. Just don't put a 3 and say Destiny 3. Tell a different story, call it Destiny, and then whatever the title is underneath the thing, do not say Destiny 3. I think Sony right now is kind of pulling back. I think two ways here. Okay, two ways here, chat, and then we'll get to what you guys are saying. I think, one, that they could take Destiny and they just go what Division did. Right? What Ubisoft did with Division. They were done with Division 2. And they just pushed it off to the side. They said, no, we're done with it. We're not supporting it anymore. And then it was about 9 months afterwards, and they said, hey, we're back. Just kidding. We are supporting it, and we're making more content for it. And then they started updating Division 2 again, right? Because they realized that to get the other thing prepared would take years and years, and they're leaving this empty, open area of nothing. Okay? And to me, that's just mind-boggling. You would spend $3.2 billion and then just kind of sit back and see what happens with Marathon, right? Number two is they take Destiny and they are making it, but it's going to be in 2030, okay? And maybe this is what they want to do. Maybe because of the landscape of gaming right now, right? Live service. And you see what's happening now with a lot of live service games switching it up, where they're taking live service games and turning them into single-player games. They're taking live service games and turning it, or MMOs, and turning them into single-player games. They're changing a lot of stuff, okay? I think what they do is that they just stop. Nothing in 2027, nothing in 2028, nothing in 2029. They're not supporting it. And in 2030, we either see it or get an announcement maybe in 2028, 2029, and they start making single player. Now, hear me out here, okay? Sony made the biggest franchise, or Sony bought the biggest live service franchise, but live service is out the door. What does Sony love to do? Sony loves to make single-player games. Single-player movie games. I'm not shitting on them in any way, shape, or form, right? But they love making single-player games. God of War, Horizon, right? So imagine if they start taking the Destiny franchise and they start making them into single-player games. Wide open world game type of stuff. Think of, not wide open, but think of a Horizon game per se, right? Start to build up stories again, get you back in love with Destiny again, right? Have a lull where nothing's happening, make you want it again, right? Again, the live service game has been here since 2014. My son is 11 years old. He was born a week before Destiny 1 came out, okay? It's been almost 12 years this game's been out. Nonstop, 24/7, you can constantly play Destiny, right? And you want it to be upgraded the entire time, right? And you just get burnt out, right? Even though there's people that love it and they're like, oh, this is the greatest game I've ever played. I've made friendships and stuff like that. The reason people want the next greatest thing is because they got rid of the other thing, right? They move on. Grand Theft Auto 6 is so popular, one, because it's Grand Theft Auto, but two, is because it's been so many years, not to say they're going to wait 15 years for Destiny, but there's been so many years between Grand Theft Auto 5 and 6, like people are salivating at the mouth to play Grand Theft Auto 6. Now, Sony is a single player. They're known for their first party titles. They're known for their selling consoles. So here's my kind of prediction here. Okay. Sony's all about selling consoles. Sony's all about selling single player games. They got rid of the live service game. So now they can focus, if they really wanted to, because they own one of the biggest franchises in gaming, that they make Destiny or Bungie, and they take Destiny's franchise and they make it exclusive. Okay, exclusive for Sony PlayStation, because they're going to make single player games in the Destiny universe. This is just a thought process I have, because again, leading up to this, Sony said they don't have IPs, right? And they need more IPs. Well, now they have IPs. They've severed ties with the live service aspect as of right now. They're looking at what the industry is doing right now and said, not doing very good. So why not take the best franchise that we have, the biggest franchise that we have that people love to play? What would make people buy a next PlayStation 6? What would make the people buy the next thing? Now, obviously, if they do a remake of Destiny, sort of like a reboot of the original Destiny, or if they happen to come back like a Division 2 where they start making content again for their live service game, that'll continue on, right? The Destiny story there. But the Destiny story that they want to tell, I don't think is Destiny 3. I think they want to tell an individual story of the thing where maybe you just control Zavala. Maybe you just control Ikora. Maybe there's a game where Ikora, Cade, and Zavala, you control them when they're younger and it's just a single-player game and you're swapping between the characters. I don't know. There's nothing planned right now. These are just things that are shooting in my head, and I'm saying them out loud to you. So down the road, when stuff happens, you can look at it and go, oh, well, that's interesting, right? Maybe it comes true. Maybe it doesn't come true. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you guys think that Bungie, or I should say Sony, is going to do with the IP of Bungie? What do you think they're going to do with Destiny? Or do you think they're going to sit on it? Do you think they're going to do something different with it? Do you think they're going to go back to live service? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know in the live chat. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, let me scroll back up here and see what you guys are saying. Morning, Crowded. What's going on? What's going on, Shadow? Let's see. Krabby says Destiny Rogue focusing on Drifter could maybe use some Gambit mechanics. Hell, you have the Infinite Forest. Use it for this. Yeah. Let's see. Krabby also says, tell the story of the Twilight Gap, the Battle of the Six Fronts, the collapse, make like Halo Reach, Iron Lords, Warlords, Cade, Ikora, Zavala meeting each other for the first time, explain D1 strangers. Yeah, exactly. I think they go single-player type of stuff like that. People also have to be making you to play as other factions to make a single-player game doing that. Altern says Sony won't give them money if their last project was Marathon. and they're bleeding money. But what do they do with it, though, right? To put all their money in put all the eggs in the basket for Marathon, I think that's a poor choice. But at the same time, it's a smart choice because that's the newest thing. They can adapt that and change that. But again, I've already said that Marathon's going to last at least a year. At least a year. Krabsy says Destiny, but in Helldivers. Let's see. Shadow says, yeah, no thanks, Sony, on the live service slop. Altern says, Marasov dating sim. Do it, Bungie. Do it. Crowded says, sadly, live service isn't going anywhere. It's a gamble, and they're willing to make it because the money is unfathomable. If it's just one success, it makes up for many, many failures. Sure. It's the same thing that we've also talked about in the past, Crowded, about the movies scenario where a movie studio makes 10 films a year. 7 movies fail. 3 movies make money. 1 movie makes a shit ton of money, right? That's what they're banking on. Krabsy says Sony doesn't like doing that. The studios like do that. You let the studios make what they want to do. If Bungie wants to make D3, well, they need to earn that making spin-offs and acquire funds for D3. Altern says it's crazy to think about it. They bought a studio just to close the ones they already had. Right? Is that crazy? Sarge says so many things that guaranteed money in the gaming. It won't make anything unless they see a guarantee, and there is no such thing. Analyst paralysis. Let's see here. Jesse Mack says Sony be hoping I'm on a Marathon because to see it Bungie on cope on the life support system could also have been a nightmare for them. Altern says Sony can make like 10 Destiny spin-offs, 10-hour story game for $40, get their money back ASAP. People want to know character stories. Yeah, they have an infinite amount of stuff. Now, they have to do it smart. Don't turn Destiny into what Disney did to Star Wars, by the way. We don't need an individual story for Cade, an individual story for Zavala, and an individual story for Ikora. You know what I mean? Like, right? We don't need all the solo Star Wars story type of stuff. Crowd says a game like Marathon is a hell of a lot cheaper to maintain than Destiny. Destiny is a money sink. Yeah, but what you do by closing this, not supporting Destiny anymore, there's way more people that were playing Destiny that love Destiny from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2 than there's people that play Marathon or even care about Marathon. So now that they've stopped supporting Destiny 2, you've angered a lot of people, right? You've angered a lot of people. And a lot of people think that they want them to force them to come over to Marathon. I don't think that's going to happen because it's just not their type of style of game. Now, what they could do is add a PvE, like they said they were going to do an experimental, to try to, sort of like a little vacation for these Destiny guys to come over. Be like, oh, yeah, look, there's a PvE section over here. And they might like that. But for the most part, you're absolutely correct. It's much cheaper for Marathon than it is for Destiny. But you just completely sunk the ship of everybody that loved Bungie because of Destiny. Jesse Mack says Sony doesn't need Destiny 3. We'll turn the tables to make the extraction shooter. Altern says the best hope for Marathon is that the game becomes a combination of Arc Raiders and Helldivers 2, PvP mode and PvE mode that will also be the best course of action to maybe revive the game. I don't think it's ever going to get a revive. Miss Green Rodham says, welcome to the channel, first off, says, why can't Destiny do like Warframe and build around the community like in Warframe and let them, the players, help them push new ideas? That's a great question. It's a great question. It's because they're Bungie. That's why. It's a great question to ask, but it's because it's Bungie. I know Bungie's now Sony, right? But Bungie all the time, through all the years when people suggest things and did stuff, they always pushed back and were like, no, this is our vision, which I totally get. They're like, they're trying to make something. All right, they'll make little changes here and there. But why is it here? You know what? It's a perfect example. Let me bring up Warframe for a second. Let's look at Warframe Steam charts. Right? Because that's been out just as long. And then I'll also bring up Destiny 2 stream charts because they don't have Destiny 1 on right. So we'll look at both charts here. right? So here is the overall, which is like marathon numbers. Well, actually, triple the marathon numbers. But anyway, if you look at the max of this, right, look at the years. Look at these years from 2014. Now, obviously, let's go for like 2017 because Destiny didn't get on Steam until 2017, 2018 time, right? But look where they are. They're at 50,000 over here, and all these years later, they've popped up. They've gone up way up, okay? But they're at 100,000. Now you look at Destiny. We go to Destiny Steam charts, and we go to the max here. Now, obviously, they have 316,000, right? Started in 2019 here, right? And it's gone down. Now, to be honest, though, it stayed around the same, right? Around the same, about 150,000 between. There's been peaks and valleys and stuff, but the average has been pretty good up until right here, right? June 2024, and then it went down and it just never came back, right? It just never came back. So season 25, episode 2, between that and whatever, I guess between Into the Light, season 24 was peak, and then it just died off. Right? Warframe just keeps trucking along. Just keeps trucking along. And obviously there's a lot more people playing on console and stuff like that. And this is sad to see, man. I stopped playing. I looked it up the other day. The last time I played was, what is it? 20. We stopped playing. Wait a minute. This is long. Wasn't it on PC longer than that? We did Beyond the Light. Beyond Light is the last one I touched, 2020. So it's been 6 years. 6 years since I played Destiny 2. Right? I just had no, but again, mine was more because of the company, not the game itself. Crowd says, did people forget about Payback? Sony canceled that too. Well, they're also changing the name of Fairgame, right? Krabby says a portion went live over the weekend for Destiny 3 as it's 180K signatures. Oh, a petition. Marathon's player base is 70% Destiny, and you just pissed off the Destiny community. Yeah, 100%. Which is, it's a bold move. Let's see if it works out for them. Shadow says, and those people won't play Marathon out of spite. Yeah. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens. It almost makes me wonder if they do like a Hail Mary and announce something that they're working on, like they do one of those title sequences, like an Elder Scrolls 6 type of thing, or like a Metroid Prime 4 type of thing, where all of a sudden Sony comes out and just puts Destiny. Do you know what I mean? Like they're working on something, and we're like, oh, everyone's like cheering. Sarge says, you guys still don't get it. Destiny costs too much. 10 years ago, they just had the population base to profit. In today's market, Destiny costs way too much to make. Look back, even the devs said this. It was too much to make back in 2016, 2017. That's true, Altern. Warframe also hasn't removed any DLC. That's right. You can go back and play all of the stuff that came into to Warframe. Krebs says, funny enough, though, since the announcement, Destiny has been hitting record highs in recent years/months. Well, I don't know if it's been record. Is it record? I mean, I don't know if that's... Is this the record? This is the bottom. I mean, I guess. Congratulations. It's pretty low. It's pretty low. Yeah, record highs. I don't know. I find it funny, though, that everyone all of a sudden now is like, well, Pete Parsons the reason. Bro, come on now. Miss Queen says, do you think Destiny Rising on the mobile will fall like D2 now later down the line? Yeah, I don't think it's ever really going to stick. But here's the thing. Even if it does, like there's mobile games out there that people play and they bring in just extra millions and millions. It'll never be mainstream, right? Even if they do shut it down or not shut it down, it's like an afterthought for a lot of people because the people that play Destiny on console, people that play Destiny on PC, they're not going over to mobile. Mobile is a completely different market. That's like Japan and China. A lot of people play it over there. Again, no dig on the actual mobile version of the game. It's making its money, sort of like Diablo Immortal. But nobody talks about Diablo Immortal like every day because they talk about Diablo 4 because it's just not. You'll never get gamers to admit that. Why isn't my? You'll never get gamers to admit that mobile's gaming because in their eyes it's not. Just like mixtape is not a video game. Crowded says, pretty sure that Bungie didn't want to vault content. Not defending it, but it was also a symptom of D2, the game that was also only supposed to last 2 years. Crowded. How come all other games that bring in content, and again, I don't know the inner workings of the stuff, but if it's getting too big, right? If it's getting too big, how come Destiny 1 still has all its content? How come Warframe has all its content? How come Borderlands has all its content? Right? How come all of these other games could keep their games and have it separated where you can still continue playing them, but yet Bungie just couldn't do it? I feel like 30 hasn't seen the info that Paul or Jason has given. You would be correct because on the weekends, I don't look at anything. Hence why we do the daily grind and we go through stories. Now, I do have Paul Tassie's thing from 2 days ago, his video. And then I also have what we got here. We just read that one. So what is the new stuff? If you guys post the stories, we'll read them and give you my impressions as we get. I mean, that's exactly what our show is. I don't read stories. Like I'm not lying. I read the stories for the first time and give you my thoughts and opinions. Destiny Rising is already failing. Making a game like Destiny as a gacha game was the worst. Sarge says people don't talk about mobile, but mobile is killing it and paying the bills. Let's throw Fortnite into this talk. Oh, for how do they keep their content and keep going? Well, Fortnite doesn't really keep content. Like the Simpsons Matt came in and then the Simpsons Matt left, right? You know what I mean? So they don't really keep content. They constantly throw stuff out the window. But that is completely different than what a Destiny is. Crowd says, aren't Warframe's campaigns like 2 hours long? Well, let's be honest here, Crowded. Destiny's campaigns are also short. They just make you go back and forth 15,000 times to a place to kind of, take that Play-Doh and stretch it out as much as possible. Let's not kid ourselves, right? Not saying that Bungie's single-player campaigns aren't great for the bigger scale things, but their little DLCs, you can finish them in 2.5, 3 hours just the same. Unless it's changed from what I played up until 2020. Fortnite's the only thing that's keeping Epic Games around? I don't know about that. Rocket League's a big thing for tournaments and esports and a bunch of stuff like that. Rocket League's big for them. They got a lot of little nest eggs here and there. Now, Fortnite is the big guy. Just like like Minecraft is huge, right? But not one thing of Minecraft is huge. It's like the little bits and pieces of people buying these DLCs and going over here. You know what I mean? Like there's so many expansion packs and so many different things that you can download. Yeah, Unreal Engine 6 I saw was announced this weekend. I think we have a story about that. Crowd says, but those games don't do what Destiny does, man. The raids, the dungeons, the PvP campaigns, etc. Drop in, drop out worlds. Yeah, but now you're moving the goalpost here, right? Now you're moving the goalpost, right? You're taking Warframe or whatever, and you're moving that into the position, and you're saying, isn't Warframe's things 2 hours long? So then I compare that those campaigns are 2 hours long as well, and now you're moving the goalpost, saying, well, they have dungeons and what story you want to stick with? Right? I can also tell you that a lot of the Destiny stuff was, it was way better back in Destiny 1 days than Destiny 2. Well, after Forsaken, for me anyway. Altered says, did you see the Minecraft Destiny 2 server? I saw you guys posted something in the Discord. Shadow says, oh, yeah, the broken engine that they barely utilize. That's right. They moved on over to Unreal Engine 6. Now, all these other games will now move to Unreal Engine 6. You know what I think? What I think is funny now is that a lot of the Destiny diehards, okay, are going to be very, very upset because now this is like a breakup. Right? Everything that you defended, and I'm not picking out anybody in chat. What I'm saying is anyone that's defended Bungie over the years, and they're like, oh, they're going to do this, they're going to do this, they're this. Now they just left you. They left you at the altar, right? They just left you and said, we're done with this. We're not supporting this anymore. And everyone's life is just falling out. They're going through the 5 steps of grief right now, right? I watched Dado literally go through the 5 step of grief, okay, where he went from sadness to anger to then like it was a bad breakup. Went through all the stuff, and I was just like, holy Christ, right? And I totally get it for people like him, where literally he said it himself, all of his adult life, his entire adult life has been around this game, right? So he's having like realizations of what's happening, right? All the people that made friends throughout the stuff. We have friends in here from the beginning, right? I've known El Dente and Wolverine and Dupless way back when, right? Maloney says, I'm a big Destiny fan. I would have been fine if they ending it after Final Shape. Yeah, I think everyone would have been, right? Because they were coming to an end. And we were all waiting for the announcement of Destiny 3. But they didn't do it. They didn't do it. What's going on, Wolverine? Crowd says, I'm not moving the goalpost. The post is complexity. The Destiny far exceeds those games of D1 last 3 years. It didn't have nearly as much of the content drops. You understand, though, what Bungie did from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2. Destiny 1 is a complete game. A much better game than Destiny 2 in every way, shape, or form. And the reason I say that is because Destiny 2 is just a nickel and dime to keep you going. It's like when you're trying to get an animal to come towards you, you put a treat on the ground, and it moves closer, and then it eats that treat, and then you take another piece, and right? And everyone was okay with that in the Destiny community because you're like, it was amazing. The gunplay is amazing. The things are amazing, right? They took something that used to give you in the game, and then they sold it to you, right? They used to give you this, and then they sold it to you in this. And everyone's like, oh, it's just so good, right? They made you think that if the more money you spent, the better stuff you would get. So more people started spending money, and you got less and less quality stuff, right? Then they were so desperate, they had to team up with Disney and put Star Wars into Destiny. I know this hurts because the people that love Destiny, but literally, the more people paid, the less you got. And they were like, well, what else can we take out and give? Oh, let's sunset this. Let's take this out of the game. Let's do this. Everyone's like, yeah, they had to. They had to. You guys were literally living into the, like, believing what they told you. The only reason you got the Black Spindle mission is because you spent money in the microtransactions. Okay. Cool. Wolverine says it's still bittersweet. If you ask me, I'm still playing it. Yeah, if you want to play it, play it. I'm not dissing anyone that wants to still play it. We're talking about the business shutting down and Sony making the decision of not supporting that game anymore and supporting Marathon instead. That's right. You're absolutely right, Crowded. They took the Play-Doh and they stretched it, right? And you were playing in this little thin stretch here of Play-Doh that Bungie gave you. Krebsy says Destiny was funding 6 incubation projects and Marathon. But hey, killed the golden goose. It's crazy to me that Sony, maybe they have a bigger picture. Maybe they have a bigger picture. I still think they go single player. If you paid $3.2 billion, which will be really funny, right? Because they bought a live service game, right? Like Destiny was the Call of Duty that Activision, that Microsoft picked up. And I was like, you better not make that single player. And you better be on everything, right? Which they have to. They have to make all their money back. Well, Sony's not making their money back, right? Anytime soon, anyway. With Destiny, hemorrhaging money left and right. Leadership was bad. I don't want to say I told you so, but I told you so. I said Bungie has problems with money. They just can't hold on to money, and nobody wants to look at that. Nobody wants to look at that. Everyone's like, no, the game's just too good. Let's just keep paying money. I'm like, all right, just keep paying your money, but they're going to have problems. Bungie is that friend that's like, hey, can I borrow $10? I'll pay you back on Tuesday. Tuesday comes, I'll have it on Thursday. I'll have it next week. Payday's next month. Then by the time you just kind of look at them and be like, bro, just don't worry about the $10. Oh, okay, don't worry about it, right? That's what Bungie is. Crowd says it was reported that Activision wanted Destiny to be like COD, a new game every 2 years. Destiny 2 wasn't built to last. It ruined it. See, here we go again. Right? It's never Bungie's fault. It's never Bungie's fault. Bungie was their own studio. They got to choose what they wanted to do. They wanted to get away from Microsoft. They wanted to get away from Activision. They went on their own. They couldn't last. They got into Sony, and now the company's done. It's never Bungie's fault. I'm not playing it because I enjoy it anymore. Unfortunately, I'm still playing it because I refuse to quit my Trials flawless streak. Well, good luck to you. Maloney says people are still playing D1, and some people will still play D2 for a bit. If Sony was smart, they would make a TV show and build it back up from there. Yeah, we've talked about this in the past, Maloney. We're like, I don't understand, because back when Luke Smith and Noseworthy were at the company, they said that they're going to make books and movies and TV shows, and we're like, this is fantastic, right? I've said this plenty of times, like, Destiny's universe is the Star Wars of this generation. It could be the Star Wars of this generation. You can make movies and comic books, and you can take the toys and stuff. Nothing. They've done nothing with it. And then Sony picked them up, and you're like, all right, Sony has the biggest anime collection. Okay, they own movie studios and stuff. You would think that this would be a match made in heaven, and yet nothing. So if I was Sony, the first thing I would have done is made a TV show. Not a movie, a TV show. An animated TV show of Destiny. 1,000%. I don't know why they didn't do it. I don't know why they're not doing it. Flood the GXG section. All right, I'll take a look in a second. Is there another company that did the same as Bungie did a few years ago? As far as what, Miss Queen? What do you mean? As far as like stopping supporting the game. There's a couple of companies that have done that. Wolverine says, walking away after 6 years straight. What was it all for? Let me see what you put in the GXG. All right, so we got, that was my post. That was at 10:47. Destiny 2, every end is in the new beginning. Okay, that's isn't it the blog post, or is that a different article? Okay. The end of Destiny, all expansions canceled. Okay. With Destiny 2 gone, no Destiny 3 is coming. Okay. And more details about the end of Destiny 2 from inside Bungie. Okay, we got that. And then we got after Destiny 2 closure, PlayStation live service push. Okay. We've got former Bungie chief legal officer says Destiny 2's live service becoming okay, we'll see that. What else we got? I already got the former Bungie one. Fate of Doom of Destiny 3 Marathon and Bungie. Is that Paul Tassi's new video? Yeah, the new beginning. We already read that on GXG. Close the doors on the biggest game in the company history. That's a good question. I don't think of the biggest game in the company's history. I'm trying to think of another one. I mean, Bungie walked away from Halo. That was their biggest franchise. They walked away from it because they didn't want to work with Microsoft. Then we have Take-Two closed down Saints Row, right? They got rid of Saints Row. Who else? I don't think there's been a high profile like this though, Miss Queen. I think you're correct here. For taking a game like Destiny and then just not supporting it anymore. Now, obviously, they're not shutting it down yet. There are going to be layoffs and stuff that happen in the studio. Paul also said almost all of Bungie did not know about this until they announced it. Classic. All right, at the end of Destiny 2, all expansions canceled, maintenance mode incoming. The death of Destiny as a sequel have also been greatly exaggerated at points over the last decade, but now the bill has come due. Bungie announced today that Destiny 2 will no longer exist and the future expansions canceled and the game is effectively put in maintenance mode. All the coming from after 6 months of content gap that had players on the edge, something like they may be coming. Well, here it is. Let's see. Let's go to the point. You distract marathon. All right, I guess we'll just read the... All right, so... mandating situation for many Destiny fans were also a series that they have sunk hundreds of often thousands of hours into a badly mismanaged when it reached to the end of the light and the darkness era. At the time when the game was also hitting lifetime peaks as recently as 2 years ago, it slimmed down plans to have disastrously the game unable to even get a full year to reduce the content out into 2 small expansions and 2 small major updates, resulting in the most recent yawning content gap. It says past that, a lot of anger is direct towards Marathon, which also has taken hundreds of developers away from Destiny 2, which has also very clearly suffered badly for it. And the Extraction shooter had the underwhelming below expectation launch at the end of it was the very first season. It already putting up the numbers well below Destiny 2, even before the game was in the middle of its worst content drought in history. There will also be many accusations that Marathon killed Destiny. It's more complicated than that. But yes, the shift in focus was definitely an enormous factor. Well, yeah. Well, first of all, like you have all these people that love Destiny, right? That love Destiny. And all of a sudden, they're like, oh, by the way, you know that meme where the person's helping the child into the pool and there's another kid in the pool drowning and they're all like, that's the perfect meme right now for what Destiny or Bungie did to Destiny 2 and bringing Marathon into the pool. They're like, yeah, come on in. And meanwhile, Destiny's over here drowning and no one's helping it. It's also clear that continuing on Destiny 2 forever was also even the correct move. However, rather, there was also a push for having a technical happen earlier, the saga reaching a natural conclusion of the climax of the final shape, which I think they should have stopped there. I mean, they built it up, right? They built it up, and then they should have stopped. They should have stopped at the final shape. Let it breathe, right? You people still would have played it. You could have announced something else. Hey, it's coming in. People would have still played it. Right? Now you kind of ruined it. You went past the point, and then you didn't do anything with it, so you just sat there. And now they're like, well, now what? Marathon? Okay. The hope was instead that Bungie would also get busy on the only thing that seemed likely to carry on the franchise in the future, a full-on Destiny 3. Again, do not put the Destiny 3, do not put 3 behind that Destiny. Despite some rumor rumbling, there has never been any confirmation of that's happened, nor does it also seem likely that after rounds of layoffs and drastic relocations to Marathon, there would be even enough people around to make it at all. And that would be a 4 to 5 year away in any case. And Sony has not exactly shown any kind of patience that also be seen to allow for that sort of thing. What happens here is likely very bad for Bungie. With no Destiny 2 content coming in the past light update, it seems that they're very likely the studio will shift to Marathon, a game that has yet to show any indication that it can drastically turn around its own fortunes. For some level of layoff seems likely. Sony has also been laying off Bungie employees when Destiny was putting up record numbers. So now you can imagine what's coming. Yeah, they're not gonna keep them. They're not gonna keep them. They're gonna get rid of them. Best case, at least for some more devs, move to Marathon. Perhaps others absorbed into Sony for a new project, like we've seen in the recent Gummy Bears project. Now official under Sony. Sony has also taken impairment losses against Bungie to a tune of $765 million so far. Though even with that, it still values at least $2.9 billion assets. It's hard to believe that we also grounded reality based on where we are now. It says, while in recent years, there's also been a refrain from outsiders of people still play Destiny. And the answer is, before the past year was also astounding. Yes, Destiny and Destiny 2 remain two of the most successful live service games in history, spawning many imitators and tried to fail to emulate the success, though one of the biggest competitors, Warframe, is as strong as ever. Right? We showed that a little earlier. Look, it's going up. Good competition, by the way. This is like a Marvel Rivals / Overwatch type of thing. That's what it should have been. It says Warframe is the strongest competition ever, or strongest ever. At the end of the era, generally sad for players who just wanted anything to do with their favorite game and found a void where the content used to be. What happens next is isn't fully clear yet. The plan is mid-season update. Drop players have been waiting to hear about for months and still happening, but it's mainly quality of life upgrades and surprise reprisal of old content. It's not to say nothing new is ever coming to Destiny again in any capacity, but if the era of expansion and seasons is fully over, it's not clear that almost anyone would stick around if they already hit record low player count for months before today even happened. He says, I'm generally sad that Destiny also has been a literal cornerstone for my entire career. That right there, when you watch a person like Dado or Paul, right, or Cacnus or God, there's so many creators, I can't even think of them off the top of my head, right? So many creators fell off the wagon throughout the years because of whatever reason. There were so many content creators, so many people. As I'm looking at this, I have this picture, you can't see it, on my wall from the very first convention I went at, and all the creators that made Destiny, right? And it's crazy to see, like Bife has been making content for Destiny for his entire YouTube career, right? So these people are hit hard. I totally get it, right? It's like working at a job for 12 years and then getting shit canned with not even a watch to say thank you type of thing. It says, there's nothing to fill the gap in my gaming life, certainly not Marathon. And I'm not in the fact that quite angry of how all this is all handled under the most recent Bungie administration. And now the past leaders practically fleeced Sony with the overvalued sale before bailing on themselves. Now, Bungie will not be the same after this, not even close. I think it will also continue to exist. Hence, Sony is still worth a lot of its valuation, but it's going to get smaller. And it's going to get focused on a game that will also appear and have less potential than even the 12th year of Destiny would have. Ironically, with pure PvE and PvP modes on the way, and it appears that Marathon is trying to become more like Destiny in order to attract those players. Wouldn't that be funny? Wouldn't that be funny if we just Marathon just stays here for like 3-4 years, and people just start playing Marathon because they made it more of a PvE type of thing, that'd be pretty fucking hilarious to me. Destiny could also have ended the final shape bang with a regroup to bring us back the sequel that it deserved. Instead, it was slowly melting into nothingness. And the best, it will exist in the mere shadows of itself. It deserves better than this. So, well, you know what? I don't think... I'm going to look at it this way. And this is a person that's 6 years out from playing Destiny. Okay? I'm going to look at Destiny this way. I'm looking at Destiny at, like, your favorite television show, right? Like Seinfeld, or, I don't know, How You Met Your Mother, or Game of Thrones, or whatever it is, right? We always love these, like, TV shows. And the TV shows that we have, they always tell you, like, the season finale is coming up. Stranger Things just happened, right? The Boys just happened. I haven't watched those things. But I see the course online of, oh, it sucked and blah, blah, blah. That's what this is, right? You loved How I Met Your Mother. You loved Game of Thrones. You loved Stranger Things. You loved The Boys. You loved whatever. Whatever show that you loved. And it was awesome while you were watching. Game of Thrones was awesome until season 7, right? Right? So the entire thing is there. You still love it. You still love watching the season 1 and season 2 and season 3, right? I could go back and tell you, like, Smallville, seasons 1 through 6 were great. 7, 8, and 9, not so much, and 10, not so much, right? I liked how it ended. I don't love the way it ended. Nobody loves any of these franchises the way they end. They didn't like Mass Effect 3 when it ended, or how it ended. So, obviously, you're never ever going to feel that perfect ending, especially when you love something so much, right? You're always going to feel like there's something off about it. They could have done something better, right? Could have they ended at you know, the last 1-2 years ago, the final shape, and been done with it? Sure. Would you have been okay with it? Most people probably would have been like, yeah, okay, it was fine. I don't think this takes away anything that they've done before. You still have all the memories. You still have all the friends you made. You still have all the time that you put in the game and you loved, everything. So, I don't know. It's a lot of these content creators are freaking out because they don't know what to do with their life. Like I said, I've been doing variety my entire time, right? Obviously, that's why my channel is super small. Because, well, that's not the only reason. But back in the day when everyone was making Destiny content, and just Destiny content, that's how they built their channels. If you did Minecraft, you did Warframe, you did whatever. And people were building up, and so many people came up the Destiny, the ladder, okay? Right? We did a podcast with Lono back in the day, right? And it was talking about Destiny the entire time. Paul Tassi was on it. We talked for years about the game. Right? All that stuff is still there. You can't take that away from me, all the conversations and stuff we had. Right? All the gameplay we had. Even though I tell you that Bungie is a shitty company and they couldn't handle money. It's true. Still love the game, Destiny 1. We went back, a couple of months ago? Over by November, December. Went back and played Destiny for one night. It's fun, just not there for me anymore. Right? Great game. But look at Halo. Right, we started playing Halo this weekend with my son. We started with Reach. Like we're playing through the game, and I loved it back then. I don't love it like the same as now, but I loved it back then. Right, that can't be taken away from me. So I think a lot of people are upset, and they're more because of the content creation part than anything else. Let's see what else. Destiny 2 is gone, but Destiny 3 is coming. No, Destiny 3 is coming. What does this say? This is from. What's today's date? Today is the 25th. That's a couple days ago. What else we got here? Oh, Paul Tassi was on a writing binge, huh? More details about the end of Destiny 2 formed inside Bungie. This one, after Destiny 2's closure, PlayStation's live service push officially in shambles. All right, let's read this one. All right, so after Destiny 2, let me grab this real fast. I got to put this in the section down below. All right. So after Destiny 2 closure, PlayStation Live service push is officially in shambles. Okay, at this point, there is no other way to say it. Despite winning the console generation against Xbox, Sony has its own enormous issues. The biggest amongst them is what the utter failure of the live service push has been the last few years, culminating in the death of what is the most storied live service in the roster, adding it to all its up. It's frankly embarrassing. So one point is Bungie has announced the development of Destiny 2 will also cease after the final June update to failure of the expansion been canceled. The ends of 11 plus years of the saga with no Destiny 3 planned. Both Bungie and Sony did not have a coherent plan to how they could also carry out the game after the final shape, after which also lost an enormous amount of players. Though even the darkest times, after 6 months of zero content, Destiny 2 is still putting up 150,000 daily players, leading to many to believe that it is either a mistake to kill it now or to very least not have a Destiny 3 greenlit. Yeah, it is weird they don't have anything greenlit. Maybe they do, and they just no reports on it yet. Maybe it's super top secret. Bungie previously has also advised other studios on live service games, which also amounted to little. The most famous example is Bungie guidance was explained to Naughty Dog exactly what would be required to maintain a live service as a planned faction game. The studio ultimately decided they didn't want to do that, and the project was canceled. Probably a smart thing to do, huh? Then you have Concord, of course, was the largest failure, the biggest failure in history of video games. 13 days, right? Failure was just the crop of the games, but possibly the biggest video game launch disaster of all time. No, it is. Barely bringing in 800 concurrent players. It was less than 700. It was 687, I think it was. Don't give them the extra 100, okay? After hundreds of millions of dollars spent on the years in production, it was shut down after 2 weeks. 13 days. 13 days. And it was also a wake of reports of Sony genuinely believed that the game would be the next big IP. Next one is the live heist shooter Fairgame was announced in 2013, and absolutely nothing else from that game has been shown since then. The studio leader, Jade Raymond, departed some of the time ago, and the recent reports say that there's also pivoting to have more extraction shooter elements. Most are amazed that the game is even still in development, and instead is going to be being canceled, though there's still time for that. 100% there's going to be time for that. Sony announced Horizon Hunter Gathering 3 months ago, a co-op live game rendering of Horizon heroes in the cartoon form of tasks them with the hunting monsters and currently closed alpha tests. But reactions to the reveal have almost uniformly negative, an example of no one really wanting to needing a live multiplayer version of a historic single-player franchise. You're watching in real time Sony taking the Horizon franchise, even though it's never been or never will be as close as like Star Wars, but you're watching in real time Sony like destroying an IP, like speed running an IP faster than Horizon. They got so many games. They have the Lego game, they have the Hunter and Gathering game, they have the MMO game, they have the mobile game, right? They're doing what Disney did with Star Wars, but they're speed running, right? We're going to see what happens with that in the future. There's also a God of War multiplayer game being made at Blue Point Studios at some point, which is also shuttered due to the lack of confidence in the project. And the studio is also shut down entirely 3 months ago. Single-player franchise has also done multiplayer well in the Ghost of series. And the recent sequel, Ghost of Yote, had Legends expansion like the first, banding together players in a separate mode using the mechanics of the main game. These offerings were also very good, but were not intended to be turned into an ongoing live service game, and they're already reaching the point of where Legends will not make any new content. First Legends lasted 1.5 years before they stopped. This one lasted 3 months, and they stopped. Helldivers 2, easily Sony's biggest live service success, has stabilized with about 10% of the players had it launched 2 years ago, which is also still decent enough, but hardly a mega blockbuster it once was. But past that, the developer of Arrowhead is not at Sony Studios and will leave Sony behind. It's self-published its next game, so Sony cannot rely on them much longer. What if Sony takes that IP and then gives it to Bungie, and now Bungie makes Helldivers 3? Be interesting. And finally, we arrive at Marathon, Bungie's extraction shooter that launched 3 months ago, and now with the death of Destiny 2, the Sony's highest profile party live service game, it's underperforming. It has mostly PC player base, which also peaked at 88,000 Steam concurrent at launch, and has been hovering around 10 to 11,000 as of late, lower than Destiny 2 during a content drought. Now, Sony will publicly back Marathon and moving more and more in Destiny devs over to it. The game plans to expand the PvP and PvE modes and is recognized as quality PvP extraction game by those playing it. But not enough people are playing it, especially if it now meant to float Bungie as a studio, and Sony's flagship live service offering give all of the above. Now, Sony's bread and butter for first-party single-player story games is still intact, with the Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, coming from Naughty Dog. The much-anticipated Insomniac Wolverine game is out this year, and will also try to be the place to play the console-only GTA 6 this fall, with a broader hardware-based marketing deal and also most powerful console on the market, PlayStation 5 Pro. It says this live service push has also been nothing short of a disaster. It's been also the main bright spot. You could go back, probably can't find it on my normal channel. You'll have to go back to GXG, right? I remember talking about when they said they were putting the live service in. I said, I hope that doesn't ruin their single-player aspects of the game. And obviously, it has, because they're delaying most of their games because they're not working on them because they're working on live service games instead. And here we are in 2026, and Sony, who is the number one in the console market, is like stumbling over their own feet, man. It's like they have this like clear run of a track, and yet they're ruining it for themselves. This is that football player that has the ball that intercepted and ran around down the thing and then drops the ball before he gets into the end zone type of thing, right? It's like a person just running full speed and then slowing up right at the tail end. It's like you have all the things that you need, yet you choose not to do it. It makes no sense to me. You have IPs that you can make. You don't make them, right? You have live service games that are the most successful, yet you stop supporting it. It doesn't make sense, right? All you had to do was not raise prices for your consoles, and you did. Mind-boggling to me. Krabby says, imagine if instead closing Firewalk Concord devs, they made them support studio for Bungie. Yeah, that would have made sense, right? But they're probably not making enough money, right? So they couldn't afford them. Roadkill says, I'm itching to buy James Bond game. I need a good story video game. There's plenty of story games out there, Roadkill, that you haven't played. Don't buy a full-price game. Just wait for the reviews before they comes out, before you buy it. Chopper Eric says, hindsight is hell of a thing, Krebsy. That would have been a heck of a good move, probably. They can't afford it. They couldn't afford them. Hence why they started firing people. It's a great idea. A great idea. Krebsy says, cutting variety normally cuts viewership 30 to 50%. More than that. I was looking at... Not that I'm doing like an audit on Dado's channel, but I happened to watch Dado after the podcast on Thursday, and the way he was talking, because I know he's got multiple channels, and I was like, why is he like his career's over? Like, you could just go make, like, he has over 1 million people that watched him, right? But when he made content that wasn't Destiny, like, I was like, oh, I get it now. I get why he's upset. Because when he made Destiny content, even his Destiny content was lower than it was in the past. But when he made Destiny content, it was like nosedive, right? And then when he makes other content, it's not very good for that size channel. Now, his other channel is actually doing pretty well, where he just talks about and does other, different things. It's way more than 50%. He's got 1 million followers. Or 1 million subscribers. Oh, you're talking about live streams. Yeah. That's exactly what it's at there for YouTube. It's like 80-90%. It's crazy low. Yeah, it's crazy low. Travis says Bond's going to be great. There it goes. There it goes, chat. Travis just jinxed it. Yeah, every time Travis says a game is good, oh, it's like the Morgan Park effect. It's like the Morgan Park effect. All you had to do, Travis, was not say anything. Oh, now Bond is gone. Oh my God. First it was Mind's Eye. What was the other game he said? Oh, where's Toxic Avenger? Toxic, yeah. Where's that game at? Oh, for God's sakes, Travis, all you had to do was just stay quiet. Yeah, you see Shadows. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, well. What are you going to do?
See people over to Gummy Bears.
Yeah, Toxic Avengers, Toxic Commando, whatever.
Maybe they can...
Whatever it is. All right, we're going to watch. We're not going to watch. Actually, we should watch him. We're not going to watch that. We're not going to watch that. I want to shift gears a little bit here. We're going to talk about one of the biggest networks of gaming site reveals new plan to only pay writers per click. Welcome to YouTube. Welcome to YouTube. Well, Saints Row did it get shut down? I know Krebsy said earlier that Embracer owns them, but they stopped making it. They're done making it for right now. So I don't know if they shut it down or they just shut the studio down, but they own the title of it. Ray says AC Shadows is a good game with bad story. The Saints Row studio is closed, yeah, but they still own the IP, yeah. All right. So one of the biggest networks of gaming site reveals a new plan to only pay writers per click. Now, editors and writers at the Valnet-owned site, The Gamer, will now reportedly not be paid for their work if their articles do not accrue enough views. Oh, well, isn't that nice? Welcome to YouTube. Valnet is a self-proclaimed leading digital media investment company behind the likes of Polygon, Game Rant, OpenCritic, Collider, and over a dozen more gaming technology life sites websites. Isn't known for paying its freelancers writers very well. But now a new pay-per-session contract issued to writers and editors of The Gamer on May 21st threatened to break a new ground when it comes to click mill style exploitation. Now, here it is. Ready? If it's just one company. It's just one company doing it. But now it's going to be all companies doing this. This is what's going to happen. You're going to see all the writers that write these things and stuff like that. They're going to quit their jobs. These places are going to close down. And yeah. Okay. Don't excite me with a good time here. Don't threaten me. Okay. According to details outlined in the Gamer's Slack, these new terms mandate by the Valnet management would reward top-performing articles. However, Kotaku last learned, based on the details outlined, newly issued contracts that are proposed performance structure would also result in writers not being paid at all if their articles do not exceed a minimum threshold of views. Do you think that they're going to put some view bots, little clickers going on to click on their own sites? Maybe. It says it was founded by Hassan Yousefi, and who also previously owned the Canadian pornographic production company Brazzers and the silent partner of Pornhub in 2012. The company has since earned a negative reputation over the years the way it treats staff and freelance writers, with the one former Collider employee describing that all content mill borderlines like almost a sweatshop level during an interview with the Wrap in 2025, briefly freelance for Gamer in 2022 and 2023. Now, despite the rise of Valnet's reach, it'd be hard to press to find a positive word about the company from those who also work in the newsroom. It has previously been accused of copyright striking YouTube videos that include negative statements about the blacklist writers who complain about how they... we're living something in real time here. This could happen to me. Just putting it out there, guys. Okay, one of those writers is Lex Luddy, the editor-in-chief of the former junior editor of The Gamer, who also stated earlier today is a post of Blue Sky that the staff in the site would recently issued new contracts. The revised agreement required a minimum article viewership threshold for payment, and then some staff of the site accused these new contracts of being former soft layoffs. It says, quote, Pay-per-view bonuses a previous contract were addictive to base pay, stated Lundy's post. New contracts would see pay based solely on viewerships with minimum amount of clicks needed before any pay of as granted. Now, details of these contracts were not flagged to anyone. The gamer management managed before being sent out. After a day-long revolt of the company's Slack, many of the TG Permanent's staff believe that issuing the contracts are a form of soft layoffs. At most, would rather leave than sign. Yeah, that's a way to do it. Kotaku was able to view a copy of the newly outlined contracts issued to the staff in the gamer's official Slack, and the new existing performance-based bonus system was revealed to the staff on May 21st, but immediately went into effect the next day on May 22nd. Now, the writers will now earn $5 per 1,000 session, okay? And the editors will earn $3 per 1,000 session. And the rate also only applies to the first 15 days per post, which means that any views accumulated after the fact will not earn the staff any extra money. That is some scummy ass shit right there. I don't care what you think about the writers and stuff. That is scummy ass shit right there. Now, of course, the real issue here is per 1,000 session. Okay. While the gamer's upper management was trying to spin this in any way as strong performing content, the earn extra money is also means that should an article get fewer than 1,000 sessions, staff at the site will not get paid for them. This gets worse when you take into account exactly how many of the gamers, writers, and editors are actually performance-style contracts. Kotaku spoke to Lex Lundy, who stated that almost everyone from the writers and senior editors technically classified as freelance and the gamer, therefore, could be subject to a newly issued contracts. Almost everyone in the contract freelance, they said. One or two might be employees. Not all the editors received these contracts on Thursday, but it's also shared that the Slack discussed openly. Now, a lot of gamers, media, written, word sites hits right now. They're also a combined factor of the Google SEO change when it also understands the gamer quite hard. Lundy said that the prevalence of the AI search engines and the fact that Google just this week announced that it's also shifting in search engines and AI chatbot type interface further the click-through rate. So we talked about this last week, right? The click-through rate that Google's switching because now they're going to make AI stuff and basically take the story and give you the information while you go into the story is doing that. And now they're getting clicks per view. And this is only that one site, The Gamer. But if this happens, this is the end of the media, right? As much as we hate the writers and the people writing articles because of the articles and stuff that they write, disingenuous type of stuff, okay? But we do need writers. We do need people to make stories that do their job correctly, okay, when they're doing investigating reporting or if they're just telling news, not being biased, just telling us the news. But the problem is they don't want to do that. So now more and more sites are becoming obsolete, irrelevant. Nobody cares, right? A lot of people use them as memes and whatnot. Kotaku itself, right? And that is a massive problem in the industry, not just for, I know people will be like, well, good, let them burn. Absolutely. But at the same time, if this is the way it goes, then no one's going to make money there. So you're not going to have people become writers. You're not going to have people writing stories because they're not going to do it. They're like, what's the point in this, right? So this right here is the horse armor, okay? Just like I said a couple weeks ago, but the Sony putting the, we just need your ID. It's just your ID. It's just the one time. We just need it, okay? It's just, right? It's the horse armor. It's the one thing, and then it adds more and more as we go. And you're going to hear this get worse and worse and worse and worse. Okay, put the fries in the bag, right? You put the fries in the bag because you're going to have a lot less people writing articles, and they're going to have less and less viable outlets. Not that there's many right now, but we need to start getting independent writers. Screw these companies, right? Plenty of people can start their own site, their own Slack, whatever there is, and make money off of it by just telling us the news, right? There's a huge gap right now in the media department of just people giving us the news. There's people that give us drama. There's people that give us fake news. There's people that give us a whole bunch of stuff. Just write the news. But these are just my thoughts. Leave yours in the comment section down below. What do you think is going to happen with this? Do you think it's going to spread from the Gamer to Kotaku to IGN to all the other people that are writing articles and whatnot? Let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know in the live chat. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. All right. We need actual writers, not McDonald's employees with a pen. That's funny. Altern says the only game that I worried about that Travis cursed was Crimson Desert, and the game is amazing. Well, no. He said it was bad, then it was good, right? Travis is not playing Crimson Desert. Travis says the only I didn't get or say Crimson was great, so therefore the curse isn't real. You know, because you didn't play it, the game is great. No, the curse is there. Argus says, "All right, did I miss the shit talking of Bungie? Yeah, it's in the earlier part of the show. Now we're going to talk about Mando and Grogu. Okay, because Mando and Grogu, people are saying, oh, it's doing fantastic. Let me see if I can find an article real fast." Let's see here. We got a couple of stories here we could read. Star Wars box office rebound. The Mandalorian Grogu makes a major gains on Saturday for $102 million domestic opening. Now, oh, for God's sakes, can I not look at this one? All right, well, then you're gone. All right. Is the Star Wars franchise finally cooked? Well, let's look at this for a second. I can't click a goddamn article from these people. I swear to God. I just want to read an article. Variety, you gonna let me read your article? Okay. Box office, Mandalorian Grogu lifts off at $102 million over Memorial Day holiday. Obsession scores $28 million in a huge second weekend. Now, people are like, oh, $102 million domestic. That's got to be really good, right? That's got to be really good. But let's take a look at it real fast, right? Take a look at it. So, opening day, okay, $81,960,000. Okay, that's the opening weekend. Domestically, it made 102 domestic, 63 international, worldwide 165. Now, there's people out there that are disingenuous. They're like, oh, well, the movie only cost 165 to make. It's made its money back. You're a liar, and that's not how things work in the actual reality. Okay, so let's show you what this is compared to, because this movie right here, Solo, a Star Wars story in 2018, right, made 84 million domestic opening. Mando made 81 million. Okay, 84 million, 81 million. Okay, Mando's below that. The domestic opening weekend for this, okay, the opening weekend. Let's compare, right? 35, 24, 24, and 18. It opened up the exact same week of Memorial Day. 4-day weekend, 35, 24, 24, 18. Now we have 33, 25, 23, and 20. Okay? Very similar to the intake here. Okay? Now, obviously, it made less money on the Friday. It made more money on the Saturday. It made less money on the Sunday. And it made more money on the Monday. Now, everyone's going to be like, oh my God, it's 165 million. If you go look at what Solo made after this fantastic weekend in 2018. Now, remember, 2018, this is coming right after The Last Jedi. This is the next movie that came out. People were so pissed off at this that's why this movie sucked so bad. right? It's actually not bad of a movie. Not great of a movie, but it's not bad of a movie. But it went on to make $392 million, which is about $250 million less than what it should have made, and to lose money. Now, everyone's looking at the budget here, $275 million. Okay. Now, The Mandalorian, they don't show the actual budget, but the budget that they're reporting is $165 million, but that's also wrong. Okay. And the amount of percentage that they take from the box office, okay, this movie needs to make around 500 and 550 million to make money, right? Even if it made 165, it would still need to make about 375, right? And Solo right now made 392 million worldwide, right? So even if this makes the same amount of money as Solo, it still doesn't make enough money. And right now it's tracking to be less than Solo as it is. Now, I'm not here to tell you if the movie's good. I'm not here to tell you if the movie's bad. We're just looking at the numbers here. And numbers can change all the time, right? You can look at numbers. We look at Steam charts all the time. Steam number does this, Steam number does that. Steam number does this, right? Now, if you bring into the effect of Solo, and then you know, it's been a couple years. So inflation happens. This movie is dominating over what the Mando's doing right now. Right? So this is not good for Star Wars. Star Wars, the actual Star Wars franchise is done. Right? They need to do a complete and utter stop. Just stop. Stop what it is. You know, when you're like, sometimes you just need to reset yourself. You keep spiraling downwards if you're doing something. You just have to take a deep breath. You just got to stop. Lucasfilm needs to stop. Star Wars needs to stop. They've completely ruined the franchise. Okay. Box office of Mandalorian Grogu lifts off at 102 million. Okay. It says, for the first time nearly in 7 years, a Star Wars fans finally had a reason to go to the movies. And plenty of them showed up. Mandalorian Grogu, which collected 82 million in its opening weekend, is estimated 102 million through Monday. Those ticket sales are aligned with the expectations. They're actually below expectations, but then they raised it and lowered it and raised it. Those ticket sales are aligned with the expectations. Box office analysts are mixed on the results. On one hand, it's significant for any film to debut above 100 million is post-pandemic times. This is what I hate about articles like this. There's plenty of movies that have gotten over $100 million after the pandemic. But this is what they say when a movie doesn't break over 100. They're like, well, it's just, right? Remember during the pandemic, they told you Shang-Chi was an amazing film. It made 75 million. Okay? But yet Spider-Man came out and made 1.8 billion. It's like during the peak. Right? And they're like, well, no, you can't do it. Right? These articles are so disingenuous when they write stuff about this because they're access media. Plenty of them showed up for The Mandalorian Grogu and collected $82 million in the opening weekend, estimated 102. Box office analysts mixed up above the 100 million pandemic. On the other hand, Star Wars is one of Hollywood's permanent film properties. Expectations of certain level of box office has started the worst of Star Wars since Disney bought the franchise in 2012. Prior to the weekend, the unfortunate distraction belonged to 2018 spinoff of the Solo, a Star Wars story, which opened up at 84 million over the weekend of 103 million through Memorial Day holiday, not adjusted for inflation. Now, Solo, however, was plagued by other issues, including lackluster reviews, word of mouth, and none of this, which does all help in terms of box office longevity. It's also because the movie was bad and people didn't want to go watch it. So once the Star Wars fans that wanted to watch it watched it, nobody else watched it after that. It became the first Star Wars movie to ever lose money in the theatrical run, tapping out at 392 million globally against a massive budget of nearly 300 million. Was it 392 million? Okay, 392 million. Okay. All right. It says The Mandalorian Grogu carries a leaner $165 million price tag. Again, false. More importantly, it has the benefit of a positive audience score. A truer test of the commercial viable will be the film's second weekend in theaters. that's indicated whether or not The Mandalorian and Grogu is just appealing to the fans of the franchise or the movie will become a breakout amongst family crowds. Opening weekend ticket buyers were 63% male, while 75% were above the age of 25. Jon Favreau directed... Where's the women? Where's the women? I thought Star Wars was a female. These are the people that went to go see it that are still Star Wars fans, right? 63% were males. Okay, 75% were above the age of 25. That's terrible, by the way. If 75% of the people that saw your thing were above the age of above the age of 25, that means you've completely missed capturing the younger audience that you need, because the younger audience becomes older and they become fans of your stuff, and you're not capturing those fans. It says, which earned an A grade on CinemaScore exit poll. For a comparison, 2019's Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker earned a B+. And the story takes place after the third season of the Disney Plus series. The Mandalorian revolves around Pedro Pascal's Din Djarin. We don't need to read that stuff. Okay. The Mandalorian and Grogu earned a $64 million global for the start of $145 million over the 3-day and $165 million over the 4-day. For originally and framed, Star Wars has never been especially strong overseas, notes David Ed Gross, who published a box office newsletter. Mandalorian Grogu is the first Star Wars movie since 2019's Rise of Skywalker, which earned $1 billion globally, while concluding the 9th chapter of the Skywalker saga. As Lucasfilm failed for years to launch a new film, 15 films, by the way, guys, 15 films promoted and canceled since Star Wars was bought by Disney. Right. Disney Plus shows the Mando versus the Book of Boba Fett. Ahsoka was also the Andor and Skeleton Crew. They won't be as long as wait to return to the galaxy far, far away. Star Wars Starfighter, the original adventure directed by Sean Levy, is starring Ryan Gosling, debuts over in Memorial Day weekend of 2027. So next year, this time, we'll get to see what happens with the next Star Wars film, which I think by just default will be better than this, because we have no expectations of that compared to this. We had 3 seasons of Mando here, and the last season was the shitter. Was a piece of shit. All right, let's see what you guys are talking about here. Travis says, crazy idea, but why don't they just make their 4 episodes of the series movie be, the streaming service? And I'm not surprised it's not doing well. Well, they're going to tell you that it is doing well, okay? But reality sets in, okay? And when a movie, what movies recently just came out? Here, hold on a second. What's another movie that just came out recently? Let's see here. Let's go to... Okay, so here's a good comparison, right? Hail Mary just came out. Okay, Hail Mary just came out. People are talking this movie up quite a bit. Okay. Hail Mary opened up at 80,000, which is about the same as Mando. Okay. Now this movie's budget cost $200 million, so it needed to make around $550 to $600 million. So it's made its money back. It's very successful, right? This is what they think it's going to do. Now, this is a good comparison. We'll take a snapshot of this, okay? Because this has been out since March 20th. So it's been out for how many days? It's been out. Does it say the days? It doesn't say the days. All right, but March 20th, so April 20th, so it's 1 month. So we're at 2 months now. Right? We're at 60 days, 65 days. Okay. So 65 days, do we think that Mando and Grogu, okay, is going to beat this right here? Now, this is an unknown. Remember now, we're talking about Star Wars, the biggest franchise on planet Earth, one of the biggest franchise, top 5, okay? And we're talking about an independent movie by Ryan Gosling. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because he's going to be in the next Star Wars movie, okay? And Project Hail Mary, which is doing very well, made $675 million worldwide. It made 340 domestic. I'm telling you right now, Mando and Grogu doesn't even break 300 million domestically. Doesn't even break it 300 million domestically. Okay? And because of that alone, they're not going to make their money back. Right? So there's one. Right? Let me see if another one. You said Michael Jackson. Michael, okay, has the same budget, supposedly $10 million less than what Mando has. It opened up at $97 million in less theaters. Okay, it almost broke that 100 million mark. Okay, it's not domestic at 319. Internationally, it's 468. Right, that came out a month ago. It's doing phenomenal. Okay, that's doing phenomenal. Oh, Mortal Kombat's probably a bomb. Let's see. Let me see if I could find the Mortal Kombat. Yeah, Mortal Kombat. Well, at least Mando is better than Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat opened at 38 million. 38 million at 3,500 theaters. Worldwide is 120. I don't think this is going to do this. This has never done good. This has never done good. Is it going to be the best Mortal Kombat movie, though? That's the question. What about Solo and Rogue One? We already showed Solo. We already showed Solo. Solo is exactly like what Grogu is. Okay? Exactly. But 8 years prior. It's probably going to end up like Solo, which lost $260 to $90 million. Let's see. I say Mando and Grogu don't make it going to break 2 million in the box office. 2 million. It's already broke. It's at 165 million. What do you mean by that? Do you mean 200 million? Is that what you mean to say? Let's see what Rogue One did in 2016. It's not coming anywhere close. Rogue One made 155 million domestic opening weekend. Okay. Domestic. And it made $1 billion. It's not coming anywhere close. It won't even, the total of Mando and Grogu won't even be the domestic box office of Rogue One. Right? Just book that. 533 domestic. Grogu and Mando will be less than that total. It's going to be like Rogue One. It's going to be like Solo. I think it end up just like Solo. I think Solo might beat it. At the end of the time, when Mando and Grogu is done, I think Solo actually beats it worldwide. I think Mando and Grogu ends around 360, 385. That's where I think Mando and Grogu. I played Fortnite this weekend, and they had like a little trailer that you could watch in their little zone. And I sat down and watched it, and I was like, what the fuck is this? That was just the 10-minute clip that they showed. And I went, I'll wait for Disney Plus. I'll wait for Disney Plus. Come on, Titan. Weird. It's like people like serious Star Wars stories or something. I don't even think it's that. I'll be honest. We talked about this in the past, though. Eclipse. I would love if they. I like Rogue One. I like Andor, but it feels like it doesn't fit in the world of Star Wars. say what you want about Mando and Grogu. Like, the style of it, it does feel like more of Star Wars, like the original Star Wars, than, right? I would love to see, I had a conversation with Creature way back when. I would love to see a Star Wars, if it was done by Tony Gilroy, like the style of Andor, like, but don't tell the Star Wars story. Tell a different story, but in the Star Wars universe, not connected to anything that we know, right? That would be fucking cool. Krebsy says Toy Story 5 and Supergirl release in June. That's another movie. I don't know if it's going to do very well. Supergirl. We'll see what happens there. The actress can't keep her mouth shut, and she just basically ruined the movie. Watch Fake Wizards, Real Wizard, and Mando Grogu review. It's funny as shit. I tuned in a little bit. I wanted to watch it. I caught it like an hour in. I heard him on WDW Pro when they were talking about it, and Wizards just looked like he was just like, I'm fucking done. My tweet off a reply off of his screenshot got like 125,000 interactions with. I was like, holy shit. His view got like over 1 million. Yeah, he is not happy about it. I didn't watch his review, but I watched his review when he was talking about it on WDW Pro. I don't know if I want to watch Paul Tassi talk about Destiny. It's 20 minutes. It's too long. He talks slow. Oh, you guys want to see? I posted it the other day. This guy, in one tweet. This was funny to me. Let me find my post. Okay, so here is the entire tweet, right? So Wizard posts, I want to go home. This is boring. And this is the tweet that he posted, right? It's been seen 2.8 million times. I said, from this shot, I can't tell if you're watching Fantastic Four, Mando, Grogu, or a leaked version of Avengers Doomsday. Okay. Then I had two people comment, but this one person is a complete moron. Complete moron. Okay. Says, you're pretty retarded. Right? Saying me. I'm pretty retarded if you think it's from anything but Mandalorian. Like, seriously, how fucking stupid people are. Now, I want you to just, this is like comedic gold. All right. Because there's so much going on in this one sentence. Self-owning himself. Right? Because you're pretty retarded if you think that this is from anything but Mandalorian. Like, seriously, how fucking stupid are people? Well, pretty fucking stupid if you think that I think this is from anything but Mando. That's the joke, right? So it says, well, this is my response. I'm not the retarded one here. It's called a joke, but I understand you didn't get it. All right, like this is just perfect. Okay, because a person, by seeing this and then seeing this hashtag too much Pedro, you would automatically know that you wouldn't have to write that tweet because you would make yourself retarded by writing that tweet. It's obviously the last season of... yeah, obviously. I just thought it was funny. I was like, really? Yeah, vote for Pedro. Everyone go out and vote for Pedro. That's not good, by the way, for Avengers Doomsday. I hope he doesn't have a lot of parts in there. Hashtag Pedro haunts my dreams. Yeah, it's crazy. Oh, tomorrow we'll probably talk about. Today's the 25th, right? Tomorrow the embargo lifts for First Light. I know there's some people with reviews, but they're not putting reviews out. Is there a review yet for First Light? Like an actual review? Let's see. We've got 5 hours ago. First Light might be the closest thing to Uncharted 5 we're getting. Okay. The early reviews say it all. No actual review. So we'll hold off then. Because I watched the 13 minutes of footage. And I was like, yeah, I still see really bad NPCs. First Light should have launched this past weekend. Why? Mr. Luke says, not my Bond game. I mean, I'm amazed that people have not reacted to how bad the NPCs are in the footage that we've seen. I think they're so excited for James Bond, they're just like, whatever. Fallout Siege of New Vegas trailer drops. What is this? Altern says tomorrow we'll also see the new Hightail update adding friends list. Sam in a new game. I thought maybe that's what it is, Luke. I'm trying to figure out why. I mean, again, remember MGM is owned by Amazon. They own the Bond license. I mean, I don't know. They're very excited about this game, and I get it. I want the game to be good myself, but we've seen a lot of footage now, and the NPCs don't look good at all. Am I blinded? Like, am I the one that's making the wrong call here? Like, when you walk out in front of a person and they don't see you, and then all of a sudden they're like, huh? And then they turn, and then there's like a 4-second, like, nothing happening. Like, am I the one that's like looking at it going, yeah, I'm trying not to nitpick. I'm just seeing the exact stuff that's happening on screen. Here, you know what? Who's this person? I don't know who this person is. We're not going to watch their whole video, but just the title of it.
For a game about a young James Bond learning
Okay.
from his...
This person is Cookies and Cream. I want to love 007 First Light. Okay. And his title said he had some problems, right? It's got some problems. Let's see. Okay, this is a small content creator, like myself. Let's see if he sees the same thing that I see in the problem. Here, we're not watching Paul Tassi today, but we're gonna watch Cookies and Cream. Cookies and Cream. There you go. We're gonna put him up, listen to his video, and see if someone, again, I don't know who this person is. I just typed in 007 and this popped up. All right. So let's watch this and see if they have, maybe they see the same things I do. Maybe they don't. Let's see.
For a game about a young James Bond learning from his mistakes, I wish it let us make more of them. Hey there, it's Cookies, and to cut this review short, 007 First Light is good. But the real question on a lot of people's mind is, how good is it? First Light is one of those games that understands the assignment, but never quite transcends it. This is a stylish, confident reintroduction to Bond in game form, one that nails the tone, respects the legacy, and delivers a consistently strong experience from start to finish, which is wild since it has been absent for nearly 15 years in the gaming community.
Oh, there's a lot of people that are going to be very upset that they can't go guns blazing, right? They're going to go in thinking they can do guns blazing, and they're not going to go in guns blazing, and they're going to be like, this is slow, boring, and methodic, right? That's not even my problem with the game. My problem is the NPCs.
The pacing hits that familiar cinematic rhythm. The set pieces are slick without over.
Do you see how most of the stuff that they show you in this game, by the way, for the trailers and stuff that they've shown, is all gunplay and action-packed stuff? He's not allowed to pull a gun out unless it's licensed to kill time, meaning, right? Meaning you're sneaking around doing a bunch of stuff, which people are going to like. But it shows how dumb the NPCs are.
Stay in their welcome, and there's a clear effort to balance stealth, action, and gadget-driven problem-solving in a way that feels authentically Bond. You could see the DNA of the films baked into its structure, every mission littered with Bond moments, every objective like a piece of a larger espionage puzzle with a scale of beautiful vistas.
I'm going to speed him up to 1.5. If you guys want to watch the original video, you can go to the channel. Link is in the description down below.
Oddly enough, there are plenty of comparisons to the Uncharted franchise. A witty young stud muffin taking...
Yeah, we're 1.25. It's just a little too fast. Let's go to 1.3.
On a world he is still learning about, operating as if he has the answers, and which ones he doesn't, he'll happily improvise on the fly. While the parallels are abundant, I can say I walked away with the same feeling I had of Uncharted 1 back in the day. I see the skeletal structure of something brilliant, held back by inconsistent design choices, where some parts feel fully realized, and others not so much. And while I really like 007, I can't say I love it.
CJ is stupid and he's also dumb. Even though he's blonde, he's not very fun.
When you're ready, Bond.
What about the girl?
A means to an end.
That's an interesting pickup line.
Whatever his endgame is, we won't see it coming.
First and foremost, I want to preface that if you want a Bond experience, this game nails it. From the visual and audio cues to the writing, pacing, and set pieces. This game succeeds in giving us the Bond flavor we want from video games. Bond fans and newcomers alike will be happy. The question is, how good are all these systems when placed together? Now, the music in 007 First Light blends orchestral scoring with electronic elements from composers The Flight. It dynamically shifts based on gameplay, quiet, tense layers during stuff.
See, my first problem here in 2026, when you're playing a video game and they take their turns fighting you, right? We've gone past the point now where you can fight more people. Hell, Batman did this in the past, where more people would try to attack you than one.
And more aggressive arrangements in combat, which helps reinforce the cinematic feel.
Now, here, I'm going to nitpick a little bit here, right?
Tense layers.
So the guy behind you who punches you,
and
right?
More aggressive.
He punches you right there. Now, when he wants to attack him,
arrangements,
it automatically goes past him and he kicks the other guy. Okay? Again, small little thing, but why is he engaging with that guy and not the other guy? Now, I understand.
On gameplay, quiet.
He takes his watch or whatever and shoots him right there. Shoots him in the eye, but he gets punched by this guy.
Arrangements in
right? So now this guy is being ignored.
Combat.
He's fighting this guy. This guy is waiting his turn.
Feel,
right? Once he's done, he attacks. That to me is bad.
As it flows quite seamlessly. There's also a full Bond-style theme song by Lana Del Rey, produced by David Arnold. I don't think it tops what we got in every...
I think it looks good. Don't get me wrong. Okay? But there's just certain things of this I'm like, okay.
Thing or nothing,
And this is once they see you.
but it's still quite good. Visually, the game is a bit of a split. On one hand, environments are visually impressive, with a lot going on in its detailed locations, and advanced lighting like ray tracing enhancing the cinematic presentation. Just be prepared for a game that will start chugging randomly at times with some disjointed optimization on base console models. First Light builds its entire identity around balance, and for the most part, it does succeed. From a gameplay standpoint, it leans into a hybrid structure. Stealth, third-person action, and light gadget-based problem-solving all woven together into linear mission-driven levels. Stealth is clearly the backbone here. You're encouraged to move methodically, reading patrol patterns, using distractions, and picking your moments rather than forcing encounters. It's clean, responsive, and approachable without feeling overly simplified in most cases. At its best, it creates the classic Bond fantasy, slipping through high-security spaces unnoticed using just enough force to stay in control of a problem much larger than you or anyone there can even begin to describe. When things inevitably go loud, the shooting mechanics step in without friction. There's a system called License to Kill, where once you get put in a situation where your life is at stake,
What?
you are allowed to go full lethal. Gunplay here is solid, weighty enough to feel impactful, and the pacing feels right. Your ability to quickly grab weapons while on the run, mixed in with Bond's flexibility, gave me Watch Dog 2 vibes in the best way. IO arguably made the Watch Dog 3 we always wanted, but with a Bond coat of paint. No offense to Legion. Your gadget...
But here's the thing, though. Does Watch Dogs become better because it's Bond? Does Uncharted become better because it's Bond? Does Hitman become better because it's Bond? I don't know.
Can be used to buy you some breathing room if things get hairy in a fight, or on the flip side can help you easily sneak on by without a trace of you being there. These moments, regardless of which path you take, are exciting the first time you go through, until the cracks in these gameplay systems begin to form. For example, the game structure goes from larger sandbox zones filled with Bond moments to these familiar, smaller, isolated levels until it funnels back out again to finish the series with a massive set-piece moment. Lather, rinse, repeat for the game's 15-hour runtime. In those sandboxes, this is where you feel that...
I guess what I'll say here is the problems that I have with this game, if the game comes out and people are having fun with it and there is no patch to fix what I've said, well, then I'm wrong. But if there's a patch that fixes the NPCs because the NPCs feel stupid, enough said.
That Hitman DNA. You have one main objective in the zone that you can work towards in a couple of different ways. How you get there is entirely up to you, as you are filtered through these Bond moments again, which could be sneaking on by with guard access cards, staging a fire hazard, or so on. The ideas here are cool, but unfortunately in most cases there are only a handful of decisions you can make, unlike most of the levels in the modern Hitman trilogy. The sandboxes themselves feel open, and sure do look good, but in most cases you get to a scene where it pushes you down one of 2 or 3 paths to the next zone. I was expecting it to be more open-ended like Hitman in its design, allowing for improvisation to serve a major role in the gameplay as it does the plot, where you can really get creative with your gadgets and dozens of route combinations. Unfortunately, this improv system is limited at release in ways that may frustrate you, almost to the degree of...
I wonder, here's another thing I just thought of. Your watch that you have, right? Let's say you have, I don't know, a shock in your watch. Does it automatically charge and you have unlimited charges? Do you have like 3 to use? Right? That to me would feel better if you're playing the game and, you know, because you're stealth, you're like, okay, I have 1 sensor I can throw on the wall. I have 3 charges for my watch. I have like the radar, but these are like one-time use type of things because you're on a mission, right? Or do they gamify it where it's unlimited and you can use them all the time? You know what I mean? Like type of stuff. If your gadgets are limited and you're stealth and you have to pick and choose to use certain ones as you're trying to methodically get to the end thing without gun blazing, that would make me feel way more interested in this game. Now, I don't know if it's the way that is or if it automatically charges and you have unlimited use of your gadgets.
Of the initial heist in Grand Theft Auto 5, where you are simply choosing option A, B, C to play out versus actually bringing a plan together, with one option clearly being the quote-unquote right one, especially as various tools you have will be restricted in certain zones in the game, more so for story reasons, but unfairly
see your watch at the bottom there has a battery.
Restricting your ability to think like Bond, almost like the game is placing invisible walls over solutions to aid the story. limiting player freedom in beautifully crafted, if somewhat shallow, environments. To further this point, I ran into multiple situations during my runtime where Bond clearly had the tools to utilize a more efficient route than the handful the game laid out for me. This happened on more than one occasion, and in more than one level throughout the game's runtime. Now say you fail one of these Bond moments. Well, the game casually funnels you into a safety net of another pre-designed outcome, taking away a lot of the feeling you were making meaningful choices. The gadgets Bond has are fun to use and have been seen in gaming time and time again. Seen through walls, a laser to cut chains, etc. Nothing here is revolutionary, but the tools are fun to play around with, keeping combat encounters intuitive. It's unfortunate as we saw Bethesda tackle Indiana Jones while fully allowing the player's agency to take center stage in open locales with various options and routes and dynamic solutions based solely off how the player handled the situation. That same sense of freedom, of expression, does not exist here. The sandbox environments themselves are also lacking the creative freedom a 007 game feels like it should have, which is strange as once combat...
It feels like what?
Lacking the creative freedom a 007 game feels like it should have, which is strange as once combat is forced and the levels become more linear, the quick thinking of Bond feels tighter than any other game IO has done. The hand-to-hand combat is a blast, as environmental takedowns are constant, a la the Arkham franchise. It even has the guy on the team who helped develop...
So wait, he said something when it opens up, when you get action, does that mean it forced you into action all the time at that point? Like, there's no way, and here's what I'm saying. When I get to this point, obviously, like I said, it's like a movie set, right? You walk up here, and it's automatically your guns are blazing, you're shooting. Can I get to this point and not shoot a gun and stealth my way around? Or is it just... no matter what I do, it's guns blazing?
Solutions based solely is forced, and the hand-to-hand combat is a blast, as environmental takedowns are constant, a la the Arkham franchise. It even has the guy on the team who helped develop that iconic fighting system. It works pretty well here with how you can throw guards over tables and off of ledges,
the fighting looks good when you're fighting.
Gadgets to a part of their body that is hit up with armor so you can weaken them. Even if the animations don't always sync up with the flow of combat. It can kind of look jank, like a stunt double missing their cue. But you can go from fisticuffs to headshots in the blink of an eye, which does feel really good. Better yet, say you're in one of those sandbox zones and get caught red-handed. Instead of outright failing, you can either A, come up with a bluff excuse, or B, toss a random item and straight up start squaring up. These moments, while small, ended up being the best parts of the game for me, because they allow you to fully engage with the game like a young Bond learning the ropes. While the paths through sandbox areas are limited, listening in on conversations to trigger them was never not fun. Now, while this all sounds good, there are some strange inconsistencies in this game's design. I shall read them now. There's an inability to move bodies during fights, especially for stealth-based runs. Unlike Hitman, guards do
So you can't move bodies.
not react to noises or fights, almost ever, making encounters feel more Naked Gun.
Hold on.
There's an inability to move bodies during fights, especially for stealth-based runs. Unlike Hitman, guards do not react to noises or fights.
That is a major problem. I'm sorry. That is a major problem in a game where you're going up against so many NPCs.
Almost ever, making encounters feel more Naked Gun than 007. Stealth options in sandbox environments become one-dimensional in more cases than one. Tools Bond receives are limited in a lot of instances to scripted events or environmental takedowns.
So they're limited, but they're also limited into the, like, I'm in the stealth, right? And it's going to be like, hey, do you want to throw the sensor over on this wall? You know what I mean? Like, I can't just throw it anywhere. It's because he said in certain areas, right?
Options in sandbox environments become one-dimensional in more cases than one. Tools Bond receives are limited in a lot of instances to scripted events or
limited to scripted events. Yeah, no.
Environmental takedowns. The cover system is inconsistent. Or maybe I just suck. I don't know. I had problems with it just being...
I don't know you. From all the footage I've seen, people, the inconsistency of the stealth is there.
Being honest here. Actually, I need to go on a quick tangent about the UI here. On the surface, the interface is clearly trying to sell immersion. There's a strong emphasis on minimalism, contextual prompts, subtle detection meters, and a gadget vision mode that overlays the environments with hackable objects and points of interest. This mode is doing a lot of heavy lifting. It functions similarly to augmented reality scanning systems we've seen in dozens of games. The detection mode is one of the more readable elements here. Enemy awareness builds through visible meters, giving players a clear sense of when they're about to be spotted. The clarity is good, but it also exposes one of the game's biggest issues.
I always thought this was funny. Like, how the fuck does this guy not see him?
When they're about to be spotted. The clarity is good, but it also exposes...
He doesn't even pick up his head. You don't see a guy... He's so focused. Was he on fucking Instagram?
Because enemy AI is so unresponsive, even on the highest difficulty.
I'm sorry, did he just say unresponsive even on the highest difficulty?
One of the game's biggest issues, because enemy AI is so unresponsive, even on the highest difficulty. The UI often signals danger when there is none. You'll see detection rise, trigger a response, and then realize the system itself is more reactive than the enemies it represents. The visual cues, while nice, are inconsistent. The gadget system is also another mixed bag. The UI tracks your available tools and their recharge states, which are tied to collecting environmental resources like electronics and chemicals. Mechanically, that's communicated clearly, but tonally, it creates a strange disconnect with the game and the plot. The interface encourages constant scavenging, turning Bond into someone who's always scanning rooms for batteries. It's fun.
Yeah, no, I am 100%. My gut is exactly 100% on this game.
Functional and works, but it undermines the fantasy a bit. It feels like you're maintaining cooldowns through resource management, which is fine. I get he's a young gun who plays by his own rules, but I'm just gonna be honest, this system feels tacked on and sort of out of place. Then there's movement and cover. The UI communicates where you can go, highlighting cover points and traversal options, but it doesn't always align with what the character actually does. Compare it to, say, Splinter Cell Conviction, where cover transitions were as smooth as butter and fluid. Here, there's always the fear that the hitboxes don't connect, leading to a handful of frustrating encounters where I would go ahead and dash to cover, only for Bond to casually stand up, do a little glitchy move, and not really know what he's doing. The dash to cover system, for example, it's visually supported by the interface again, but in execution, it feels unpredictable. That disconnect between UI intention and gameplay, it results in creating friction, especially in stealth scenarios where precision matters, because those snipers don't miss.
No, that one specific thing you guys are talking about when he goes through the window, when they showed it through the actual thing, I'll protect this instead. I'll push back on this a little bit. That's that little Bond moment where he comes through the window. Leading up to that whole window that no one sees him on the building is, to me, is bullshit. But him coming through the window and the waiter and the maid see him, he says something Bondish, like, you know, he says something just stupid, right? But that in context is funny, because if he didn't get seen by everybody else, right, and came through the window and they saw it, him saying something cheeky is fine, right? That's fine. It's leading up to the thing where he's sneaking around the entire place during broad daylight, hanging from a building, and then going through and no one says anything. That's where I have a problem with.
Like and subscribe, follow me here, follow me there, follow me everywhere. Let's go game with a purpose. Like and subscribe, follow me.
I like these little things he does here.
There, follow me everywhere. Let's go game with a purpose.
Overall, the UI in First Light, it's clean, it's readable, it's functional, but it often highlights the game's underlying limitations. It succeeds at guiding the player through a cinematic experience, but struggles to support deeper, more emergent gameplay. Like the game itself, it feels polished on the surface, but a bit constrained underneath with how many styles of play it attempts to introduce in one level. Stealth, action, bartering, dialogue, resource crafting, CQC, third-person shooting, boss battles, driving, boating. At some point, the dam cracks, and we lose some of the consistency built up behind this title's legacy. On a good note, however, the action is top-notch, but those slower stealth moments, they lack the Hitman charm or the depth that even Arkham Asylum had back in the early 2000s, making a third of this game's package feel sorely underrealized, which is a shame as, again, the gunplay handles quite nicely.
Where is he shooting? Can I ask that? Like, where is he shooting? Here. Let's look at that again.
Sorely underrealized.
We did this 6 months ago. But look where he's shooting. What is it, the wind? Is that what's happening? Hold on. I just want to... Going frame by frame. Where is that going? That's going way up high, huh? Look, not even close. not even close. This guy a stormtrooper?
Quite nicely. This game,
I think he teleports up in the sky here.
has the three pillars of engagement: sandbox levels, linear hallways, and giant set pieces. The issue is, while the explosions are massive, the feeling of threat, it starts fading away. You realize your decisions in the sandbox don't have lasting impacts. The driving portions in most cases have no fail states, and it all serves to gas up an adrenaline-fueled ride through a criminally underutilized concept for a James Bond game. For a game about a young James Bond learning from his mistakes, I wish it let us make more of them. That is, until you get to the boss encounters, which play out in really fun ways. You'll come across the boss similar to assassination targets in the World of Assassinations trilogy for Hitman. Once you see them, there will normally be a gimmick tied to the level that you need to take advantage of, and once you get to the final encounter, you will need to switch up your tactics at least 3 times in order to finish off the boss. It's well designed in a way that makes you see how Bond is adapting as he goes. This game almost feels like a tale of two cities. IO wants you to have the open exploration in their Hitman games while having the linear spectacle of the Uncharted series. Both prevent the other from achieving their full potential. Compare the dump truck set piece to that car chase in Uncharted 4. Both are fun, but only one has the well-implemented fail states to give you some heightened urgency within the set piece while you're still looking at how insane the scenario is, allowing you to feel the moment rather than simply existing in it until you get to the next scene. In short, the cinematic approach here, it sacrifices the systemic depth IO is known for and has done better in prior games. Now we have...
That's a big statement there. Right? They're doing well, but they're taking something out of what their core game is in the past and removing it because of Bond.
Spend some time digging into what works and what doesn't with this new gameplay style for Bond. What about the narrative?
Bond is immature and reckless.
I think the narrative will be fine. I think people are going to buy this and they're just going to shut their brain off and play the game. But for me, that's not worth its full price.
He's a bad influence on the other recruits who inexplicably fall victim to his charm.
Look, I know where this is going. Do you mind telling me why I'm here?
I would like you to join His Majesty's Secret Service.
You what?
I know all about your exploits in Iceland.
I strongly believe that there is a need for such heart and intuition in modern spycraft. That's the
If the wind was that strong, though, Titan, his gun would be moving up in the air as well, wouldn't it?
very reason I'm bringing back the double O's.
Need I state the obvious? He is not ready.
James, the service is over.
You're a rare breed, Bond. I should be interested to see what you do next.
009 will employ every manner of subterfuge to avoid capture.
Try not to draw attention to yourself.
Me? Housekeeping, I presume?
Now, the story follows a younger James Bond, still earning his place and rank rather than owning every room he walks into. The premise here, it begins with a young naval officer, James Bond, who is shot down over Iceland during a mission he must survive and evac. He's able to do so, and then throughout the adventure, Bond aims to prove himself and earn his 00 status, taking on a dangerous mission to stop a rogue agent while navigating a deep conspiracy that has
Of course it's a rogue agent.
plagued MI6. The game, while offering a younger style Bond, does have him following in the footsteps of an MI6 operative who serves as like a big brother to him. This tone is quite different from anything we've seen before, which we experience the story in 3 main chunks here: dialogue within missions, cutscenes, and then in between certain missions, we will be back at main HQ, a la the Ghostbusters video game. You can obtain additional bits of story, test new gear, and discover a plethora of Easter eggs
Which
into
they haven't
the James
shown.
Bond universe. And I mean a lot. Now, the level itself, it's not expansive, but the content is dense and does a great job allowing us fanboys to fan out. If you like James Bond and you know even a fraction of his history through all the films, you will love these parts of the game.
Okay.
The narrative, it leans into espionage, double crosses, shifting allegiances, and a steady unraveling of a larger threat rather than constant world-ending stakes akin to Everything or Nothing or Nightfire. It's engaging, easy to follow, and paced well across the campaign, even if the twist you will see coming from a mile away, albeit with some stellar voice acting. Bond himself cementing this new style that I'm excited to see return in future iterations. 007 First Light, it's led by Patrick Gibson as the young James Bond. It also features Lenny James as Mentor John Greenway, Priyanka Barford as Alastair Mackenzie as Q, Kiera Lester as Moneypenny, Gemma Chang as Dr. Selena Tang, and Noemi Nakai as Miss Roth. A star-studded cast that does an incredible job capturing what makes the Bond films tick. Where it falls short, however, is in its emotional ceiling. The characters are more than serviceable, the antagonist is competent, everyone's well acted, and the plot moves at a breakneck pace. But very little of it will linger once the credits roll. It hits the beats you expect without ever doing much with the young Bond approach.
So basically, it's you'll forget about it as soon as you're done.
Marketing has beat into us relentlessly since the initial reveal. When I played Spider-Man on the PS4, I genuinely liked it all the way through, thought it was quite a good game. Then came the late-stage Sinister Six reveal and the ultimate battle against Doc Ock, where I turned into loving it. with a gripping revelation that recontextualized Peter's home life that left me speechless as the credits rolled with quite a dramatic twist. I went from liking the game to loving it, all because the writers took the Peter Parker we knew and put him through experiences that challenged his way of thinking in the world. 007 attempts to do this, but never fully shifts into sixth gear beyond Bond becoming more assertive with his decision-making and knowledge of how lines within MI6 and beyond will be drawn based on what he chooses to do. Himself learning what he can and cannot control for the...
Like, what is that guy doing? You see what I'm saying? What is that guy doing the entire time? He's getting in a fight with his buddy, right?
Based on what he chooses to do. Himself learning what he can...
He's just radioing and he's not doing anything?
And cannot control for the sake of the mission. It does feel that IO was limited in what they could do with the brand name, which is apparent with their...
They said they weren't limited. They said they had open to the entire franchise. They could do whatever they want. They didn't get any pushback.
Prequel storyline choice for James Bond. I only wish we were able to experience this origin story through a script that had more excitement and where the stakes went, mirroring the Bond we would eventually know and love as fans. What we have here is similar to the rest of the game. A great idea that's well executed doesn't take that next step. 007 First Light checks the boxes and takes some big swings in its structure that had me enjoying the ride while it lasted, but very few moments in the title's runtime had my jaw on the floor in ways many of the film's Bonds, from Pierce Brosnan to Daniel Craig, had. You're invested while you're playing, but it doesn't leave a lasting imprint in the way the best Bond stories do. I could still reminisce on the absurdity and arcs in Agent Under Fire, despite its gameplay limitations.
Real quick, it did say at the bottom, I just noticed, it says 6 electric things. So it does have the thing that I said, because I didn't play the game or anything, right? I said, as long as it has like limited amounts, so I don't have unlimited, like I can just shock people wherever I go, and there's only a certain amount of things that you can do, that's fine, because that's what it would be. Like, you only have 3 shots in your watch, you only have 8 bullets in your gun, you have to start figuring out stuff after that, right? Like, that keeps you going as a stealth. So when you're stealthing, you're not just easily going through. You got to figure stuff out. That's not what this feels like. This feels like, do this until someone points a gun at you. Once someone points a gun at you, then you have the license to kill, like, type of thing. You know what I mean? And then it's just action, 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 which I get, but that's not what I'm looking for in a James Bond game. I want the action, I want the stealth, and again, I don't think the game's going to suck, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to be fantastic for $70.
I could still reminisce on the absurdity and arcs in Agent Under Fire, despite its gameplay limitations. Same with Nightfire and Everything or Nothing. Not so much with First Light. That's ultimately the story of 007 here. I like the gameplay structures, but I don't love how they limit one another, where you never feel like you're getting the most out of any one system. I like James Bond's younger self and the rest of the cast, but I don't love the one-directional nature of the plot and where it goes. I like the graphical details in the world, but I don't love the limited design in the game's systems to favor the story. I think a grand way to sum it up is this game recaptures the focus and elegance of what makes a James Bond title fun, but not always the magic that makes you want to revisit these moments in your head time and time again. Hopefully with a sequel, we can see the shortcomings polished, as I firmly believe IO and team are onto something quite special with this franchise. I said I felt the same way as I did with Uncharted 1, and if this series can scale the same way that one did, by all means, IO is on the right track.
I'll agree with that.
And I will happily punch my ticket for a sequel, let alone a trilogy, as the late game teases for some iconic villains will be sure to perk Bond fans' ears up quite a bit. 007 has a lot of growing up to do, and I'm here for it. 4 grandiose escapes out of 5. Are you interested in 007 First Light? Are you a fan of the franchise? Who's your favorite James Bond? And are you looking to pick this title up?
All right. Link in the description down below. Cookies and Cream. Never saw the channel before. Pretty good review. I liked it. Ups and downs. Liked certain things. Didn't like other things. Fantastic. Right? Again, this is not me shitting on your experience. If you guys want to go buy the game, buy the game. Play the game. Play the games you want to play. Right? Pay how much you want to pay. For me, this is a pass at full price, right? This is a $40, $50 game, maybe even less than that. This is a 6 months down the line, pick it up at, $40. Like, again, if they put a patch in to fix the AI, right, then I'm right. If they don't, and the AI is just shitty and they don't give a shit, well, I do agree with him. I would like to see this fleshed out more, right? I would like to see a sequel. I would like to see maybe a trilogy of this as he grows up as Bond, right? And become more, maybe they jump it like 10 years and then jump it again. You know what I mean? In the 3, if they make it. Hopefully they do make it. I don't know. The AI though looks absolutely horrendous. They look like idiots. And he even mentioned it. He said, yeah, they're not good. They're not good. So there you go. There is James Bond. If you like it, go buy it. If not, save your money. I agree, Shadow. Hopefully they can fix those issues. Like I don't want the game to be shit. Okay? The reason I'm bringing up the NPCs and they look bad is because they looks bad. I don't think it's woke. I don't think it's bad because he's a young James Bond or anything like that. I'm just looking at the gameplay mechanics and going, not for full price. The objective of 007's First Light is the whole point of the game is to find one person who's the other spy, 006. What the objective here? Obviously, not a Bond game. I mean, if it's a rogue agent you have to go after, and they'll be rebuilding the whatever, the 00 section. Seems like time constraint will fix it in the sequel. Perhaps. Maybe they don't fix it at all in a patch or anything. Maybe they just do it in the sequel. Hopefully it gets a sequel. Clip says, I understand it's a Bond game and there also should be action, but I think that they're also doing a beginning story. They should also be more stealth to begin with. And maybe if you make more, put more action. Maybe that's how it works. Maybe in the beginning, there's not guns. Again, I don't know anything about the game. Maybe it builds up slow, where it's just stealth action type of learning the process, and then you go back to base. They give you the watch, and it starts to give you a little bit more stuff to do. I think at the end of the day, a lot of people will just get exposed, so a gun comes out, so then they can get licensed to kill. Do you know what I mean? Roadkill's up and down. He's like, I'm out. I'm in. I'm out. Now he says, I'll let you know if it's bad because I'm buying it today. Yeah, Shadow, I don't want this game to fail. I don't want the game to fail in any way, shape, or form. Right? I'm just looking at it going, I hate Ubisoft does this a lot. Ubisoft has games that I love playing Ubisoft games back in the day. Right? But I used to hate an Ubisoft like the Wildlands and stuff like that. You're in a bush. Okay? You either have idiotic NPCs or you have super Navy SEAL NPCs. Okay? I'm in a bush, sneaking around on the hillside, and then I shoot and kill somebody from, I don't know, a football field length away. All of a sudden, the entire village knows where I'm at, and they're all shooting towards the one bush, right? And they know where I'm at, right? I hate stuff like that. Even the game that we played the other day, or a couple months ago, last year, sorry. Atomic Heart? Was it Atomic Heart? No, Atomic... Where I was in town, I killed the guy. Okay, I killed the guy. Nobody was around me. But yet the entire town knew I killed the guy. Even though there was no proof of me killing the guy, right? It's just the way they program the NPCs. The NPCs look absolutely horrendous when it comes to stealth stuff. Adam Fall, thank you very much. Right? Like, if you're going to make a game with NPCs, you got to make sure the NPCs are not idiotic. A great way to think of it, what was that horror game? It was a small independent game, The Neighbors, I think it was called, where the neighbor, like the NPC is so smart in the game that when you're hiding in the house, I never played it, but we watched a footage of it, right? The NPC would like check the closet, and then he would go around and check the other thing, and then if you failed, right, you change your spot, it would go and learn where you're hiding and stuff. Like it learns, right? Sort of like they say they didn't teach it or train it or whatever, are creators, right? The NPCs hear noise. The drones fly in. They're like, what's in the thing? Where's this, right? Maybe they're not the best NPCs, but at least they are reacting to what's happening in the world. These guys don't react to the world. They're like, sit back. They're like, oh, I've been engaged. I'm going to stand here until the other guy's done fighting, and then I'm going to step in. Or, what's that noise? They can't see you until they get, 2 feet away from you? And even then, they're like, huh? It's like, holy Christ. That would remove me out of the immersion of being James Bond and being stealth. Hello, neighbor. Thank you, Titan. And Travis. Turner says, I think $70 is hurting these games a lot. 100%. People will stealth midway, get bored, and get exposed just to make the guns blazing. 100% is going to happen. Sarge says, that's old school poor design, bro. A lot of game companies are unfortunately release games half-baked, basically. Yeah, and it's a shame because you really want the games to do good. Like, everyone's worried about graphics, fidelity, and all this other stuff. I want a game where the NPCs are not idiotic. They're not retarded. That whole thing makes it feel better. What's the worst? When you play a game and the NPCs are just dumb. When the NPCs are dumb, you're like, yeah, this game's, it's like easy mode. He said it, Cookies and Cream said it in his video. You could put it on the hardest difficulty and the NPCs still don't react. Like, bro, what are we talking about? How do you go from a game like Crimson Desert, where you could fight 100 guys and 6 guys are all trying to fight you at the same time, and then in the same year, you're 2 feet away from someone and they don't know you're there? I know they're 2 completely different companies and 2 different games and completely, but it's like, where are we right now in video games? Everyone's like, oh, look at the photorealism. Look how weird. Look at the horse testicles on the horse. Fantastic. But if my NPC doesn't move when I'm in the room, immersion breaking. How is it that a creeper in Minecraft has more sense of awareness than an NPC in James Bond? Like, what? James Bond should be about $50. Talk about 10 to 15 hour gameplay. I'll say $50. I think it's like 20 hours. I still think it's not a $7 game. 40, 50, I would say. Crimson Desert and James Bond are 2 different games, 2 different companies, but you know what? It's not different. The price tag. Both $70, and the NPCs react way different. Sweat Dog says it'll be $30 in a few months. We Must Be Rebel says, what's going on, Rebel? It says most games should be $50, period. I agreed. Again, I'm not shitting on James Bond. I know when someone has a statement to say, right? Because I haven't talked anything about anything else about this game except for the NPCs. And we brought that up way back when in October, November, when they first showed the trailer. I said, there's something seems off about this, right? You can have fun. Again, I always bring it up. I had a blast in Marvel's Avengers. I will not sit here and defend Marvel's Avengers. Okay? I liked it. I played it. I enjoyed it. Right? Was it a perfect game? No. Right? Now, someone's going to love James Bond. Love it. Play it. Right? But me pointing out the NPCs and the guy who played the game says the NPCs are bad. I mean, I'm just glancing at what we've seen in the footage. Someone that actually played the game says that they're bad. That, for me personally, is immersion breaking. I will not buy this game when it comes out. Now, if they give me a code, right, I would play it because I would be reviewing it at that point. okay, or giving my thoughts on the point. But that's not going to happen. So I'm not playing it. And I'll play it when it's cheap and when they fix the NPCs. Maybe they won't even fix the NPCs. Tara says, 32 true. Try explaining away using the window as a front door, even in your own house. That clip, seriously, that clip, he says something stupid. And if you watch the movie and he did something like that, that would make sense. It's everything leading up to it. It's like a party going on. He can't get into the room. There's literally like 100 people out front of that house, right, Tarnish? There's like 100 people out in front of that house. And he's got to try to figure it out. So he goes over to that section where he was hiding in the flower beds and then picks up a lighter, then takes the lighter, okay, from the guy that was smoking or whatever, and then drops the lighter inside of the wheelbarrow, whatever it is, where dry brush was, and then it goes on flame, so everyone gets distracted. Meanwhile, he then climbs the building, and he's out there in broad daylight. Yeah, there's fire going on, a distraction, but it's like, how do you not see this guy climbing the building in broad daylight? And then he comes through the window, says the cheeky line towards the group of people that see him walk in. It's like, no big deal, right? I can get my head around the moment that he comes through the window as James Bond to say something silly, but I can't wrap my head around everything that went on before to get through the window to get to that point. And I know I'm being very picky here. The fact that there's no reviews out right now is a very bad sign. Well, the embargo might not be lifted. I don't know. I mean, he gave his review, so I'm assuming the review's out. But I don't know. I don't know how that works. I mean, can some people do it earlier? I don't know. His channel is like 1.2 thousand. Do you ever apply for codes? You should get some. I used to. I stopped caring. I'll be honest with you, Roadkill. I don't do reviews, so. Well, it's not even being well known. Like, I could just go to a website and ask for a code, Travis. It's just I don't. Alternate says, man, I mean, if you're paying for $70 for a game, you get that right to be picky. Sure. Travis says, considering even the movies, the henchmen are dumb as rocks. Shrug. Yeah, but you're playing a video game. You're playing a video game. Like, you want some challenge in your video game, and if the NPCs are just fucking dumb as toast, then what's the point? I can just watch someone else play it on YouTube once they're done and just watch the episodes. I don't have to play it. You're comparing the movies, you're like, and? Okay. If they're dumb in a movie, dumb in a game. If I'm playing a video game, I want the game to be good. What's the point of putting guys in the game if they're going to be just retarded? This isn't a movie, though. It doesn't work in a game. The game you just get clowned on. Exactly right. Why put NPCs in the game at all? Why don't you just walk from point A to point B? Sweat Dog says, the new Forza is free on Xbox Game Pass. Why would I even think about spending $70 on the game looking this bad? Right. Having choice to execute getting in the building and completely different than playing a point-and-click adventure to do 5 times things to piece stuff together. Yeah. I never understand people who think skill matters in gaming. Gaming is about having fun. My brain is just hurting right now. If you want to play on easy difficulty, cool. Have fun playing on easy difficulty. If someone's playing on easy difficulty and is bored and their for fun is to have a power fantasy and play on medium difficulty, or play on hard difficulty, or play on insane difficulty, right? That's why there's options in games. So different people, I know this is hard to fathom, Travis, that not everyone has fun with the exact same thing. People have fun with different ways of a game. I know, it's crazy. Exactly, Tarnish. It's fun for me to have competent AI. Exactly right. It's fun for you to have shitty AI. Great. It's fun for me to have actual AI do something in the game. Yeah, the guy said the hardest difficulty. They're still dumb. Where are you going with this, Travis? Right? So fuck the losers who say it's had to be hard. No, that's not what we're saying. You're saying that the characters in the movie were dumb, the bad guys, so the game is dumb. Shrug. Like, you're like, I don't care. I'm still going to have fun. And I'm saying that because they're stupid, I can't have fun in the game. And you're like, well, what does it matter? Fuck what losers? If you want to play the game on the easiest difficulty and someone wants to play on the hardest difficulty, we both want to have fun. I'm not having fun when they're idiots. Krebsy says, all I know is I believe that some of the studios said that they can't wait to get back to Hitman, and 007 isn't even shipped. I didn't see that. Krebsy. Tarner says it's not fun for me when the AI isn't AIing. It's not fun for me. That's broken. It's exactly right. Shadow says, I personally hate lazy AI. They might as well be sleeping. Right. What's the point of even having them in the game? Competent AI doesn't equal hard. Nuance exists in life, Travis. It's exactly right. Right? We're just asking, if you're going to put AIs, and a lot of them, by the way, that they have to be at least competent. Like, when I play Division, right? Division 1 and Division 2, the AI literally flanks you. They'll work together to get around you. That's awesome. Right? And you could play it on an easier difficulty, and they still flank you. You can play it on a harder difficulty, and they still flank you, and they do other things. Justy Max says, I don't think that it's $70 price tag for James Bond game. It was $50 to $40 price would be better than putting a $70. Well, you could buy it for $300 right now for all the other stuff that they're giving you. There should be a difference between easy and difficulty if AI is dumb, no matter what the difficulty is. That's exactly right. He said in his video that on the hardest difficulty, they're still dumb. I have no idea what any of that has to do, Travis. From what your first point was, and me speaking back to you, that you've completely changed the subject 3 times. Right? All we're asking for is for competent AI. You're making the video game, or not you, right? They're making a video game. Make the video game where the actual guys feel like they're part of the game, not just stand-ins, extras in a movie. Maybe this is nothing at all. Maybe the game comes out and it sells 5 million copies and everyone just loves it. Still doesn't say that the NPCs are good. Just means it's selling well. No, I think what it is, Tarnish, is that Travis wants the game. So me saying that the game is something was wrong with the game is that he gets defensive of, well, who cares, right? Again, play the games you want to play. I'm pointing out something, just like I did for Star Wars Outlaws. Exactly like I did for Star Wars Outlaws. And I played Star Wars Outlaws, saw it before I played it, played Star Wars Outlaws, and said the stealth and the gunplay is terrible. People came out and said, no, it's not. You don't know what you're talking about. It's fantastic. I'm having fun. Then they came out as a company and said, sorry, we fixed the gun, we fixed the stealth. So then my two middle fingers go up to everybody, because anyone that says that you don't know what you're talking about, sorry. Or as Canadians say, sorry, okay? All I'm doing is looking at it with my eyes and going, yeah, there's something wrong there. Yeah, Stealth and Outlaws was peak. That's the same type of vibe I get with this. And I haven't played it. Krabby says, I found the quote. We're looking forward to getting into the weeds on Hitman again. We cannot wait to get into the engine room and upgrade the innovate Hitman for you guys again. They're like, oh, thank God we got. There was probably a lot of pressure on them, Krebsy, because when you have an IP like that. Exactly, Mr. Z. All right. What time is it? Quartz Hill? All right. I got a buddy of mine who's in town, so I'm going to be done this morning. We do appreciate you coming out, hanging out. We'll be back. I won't be back tonight. There is no stream tonight because my buddy is in town. And I don't think there's going to be a stream on Wednesday either. But that's still up in the air because I might be going to a theme park with them. But we'll be live on in the mornings. We'll be here Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, and then also Thursday morning. It's the evenings that I might not be available for. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We will be back tomorrow morning. I will not be streaming tonight over on 30 and Still Gaming. That's it. I appreciate it. You guys have a great rest of your day, evening, or night, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for hanging. Peace.
To explain. Wake up in the Cosmodrome rain, a dead earth calling out your name. Ghost says, Guardian, rise again. No map, no guide, just fire in your hand. The dark below, we fought in caves. Hive kings crawling from ancient graves. House of wolves, betrayal lines. Prison of elders, one more try at a time. We were lost, but we believed. In the light we couldn't see. We were chasing light through time. Every loss still felt like mine. From broken stars to burning skies, we kept on fighting, never asking why. Oh, eyes up, don't fade away. We're more than the ghosts of yesterday. Through every rain and every sign, we were chasing light through time. Then came the king, the taken rise. Oryx falling from the sky. Jalahorn sang one last song, and suddenly the world felt strong. Rise of iron, the plague lands cry. Silver spreading like a lie. Salvation forged in fire and steel. We learned what pain could really feel. Every white, every fall, we still answered when they called. We were chasing light through time. Every scar became a sign. From the ball of glass to the final line, we kept on pushing past the climb. Oh, eyes up, don't lose your way. The traveler still lights up the grave. Through every rain and every shine, we were chasing light through